Hey, come on, Barb. Church was this morning, huh? Hey, I mean praying's for church, huh? Come on.
I haven't seen you in church lately.
Well, there's not much sense in my going to church. Do you remember one time when we were small, we were out here? It was from right over there. I jumped out at you from behind the tree, and Grandpa got all excited, and he shook his fist at me, and he said, "Boys, you'll be damned to hell." Remember that? Right over there. Well, you used to really be scared here.
Johnny,
You're still afraid.
stop it now. I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
John.
Okay, hello and welcome to Saturday Night Gaming. This is one of my many streams that I've been doing in October for playing Halloween horror board games. And it is just me tonight, so I have a soloable game, and that is Night of the Living Dead. And I just wanted to show that scene because I could, and because it's in public domain, maybe to set the mood a little bit. And also I wanted to mention that line, "We're coming to get you, they're coming to get you, Barbara," is considered one of the most iconic, or probably the most iconic line in this whole movie. But I actually have a preferred, a more preferred line in this movie, and I'm gonna show you what that is right now.
We gotta fix these boards.
You're crazy. Those things are going to be at every window and door in this place. We've got to get down into the cellar.
Go down in that damn cellar. Get out of here!
Hey, Ryan.
I'm taking the girl with me.
Leave her here.
It's now a watch party,
Keep your
Ryan.
hands off her. And everything else that's up here.
Just
too.
watch the
Because if
movie.
I stay up here, I'm fighting for everything up here. And the radio and the food is part of what I'm fighting for. Now, if you're going down the cellar, get.
The man's insane. He's insane. We've got to have food down there. We've got a right.
This your house.
We've got a right.
You going down there with him?
Well,
Yes or no? This is your last chance. No beating around the bush.
listen, I got a kid down there. She can't possibly, I couldn't bring her up here. She can't possibly take all the
Yeah, you
racket,
know it, right.
those things smashing through the windows.
Well, you're her father. If you're stupid enough to go die in that trap, that's your business. However, I am not stupid enough to follow you. It is tough for the kid that old man is so stupid.
Oh, snap! Right
Get
there.
the hell down in the cellar.
Right there.
You can be the boss down
It's
there.
tough for the
I'm
kid
boss up here.
that her dad is so stupid.
You bastards.
Bastards. Now, why is Harry calling him a bastard? Pluralized bastard. Plural bastards. I never understood that, but I guess he's collectively calling everyone a bastard. Anyway, thank you for joining tonight. Yeah, I just thought I'd show a little bit of that to set the mood and to show the most popular line from this movie, plus my favorite, personal favorite, most favorite line, which is it's tough for the kid that her father's so stupid. That's an oh snap moment for sure. And Ryan, welcome. He says we both have daughters. Hopefully someday someone will say that to us. So yeah. But tonight we're not going to watch the movie. Hey, a watch party might be a good idea sometime, but that is not tonight. Tonight we are playing the Zombicide game called Night of the Living Dead. And there is the cover. Now I'm going to give you my comic book guy level rant about this cover before we begin. This is generally considered iconic too, but I actually don't like this picture too much. There's a few reasons. One is because Kyra Schoen, the actress who played the zombie, now she has a website called ghoulnextdoor.com, or maybe theghoulnextdoor.com, I can't remember which. And she has a lot of info and interviews and stuff on there. And this was a personal photo that her parents took of her, and it was somehow somehow got out. I don't know if it was physically stolen or not, and placed all over merchandise and things like that without her getting a penny, without any recognition or anything like that. And that's one reason why I don't like its propagation. The other reason is I don't know. To me, the more iconic image of zombies, Night of the Living Dead, is just this horde of zombies, almost from a distance, and they're kind of creeping up on you, shambling. This one looks like someone's telling her to do a goth pose and getting right in her face and saying, "Say cheese." And the last complaint I have is very comic book guy, and that is, well, the girl zombie never actually goes outdoors in the entire movie, so why is there a picture of her outside? Also, it looks like daytime. Anyway, that out of the way, why don't we get to the board game? So this is the board, and by the way, what is Zombicide? Maybe I should mention that quick. I don't know Zombicide too well, but it is a series of games. I think it originated with just one core game, and then it kind of got popular and caught on. They made a whole bunch of variants, and it is by CMO on, which stands for Cool Mini or Not, which they're a full-fledged board game publisher these days. But back in the day, they were just a Facebook group, and the name Cool Mini or Not was kind of a play on Hot or Not, if you remember that website, in which you could submit a picture of yourself and people would anonymously vote if you're hot or not. So it was just a Facebook group where people would show their painted gaming miniatures and people would say, is it cool or not? So somehow they really exploded. I missed what happened between them being a small Facebook group to being from going to that point to all the way up to being a full-fledged board gaming company. But that happened at some point. Anyway, this is a specific variant of Zombicide that specializes in simulating the Night of the Living Dead, the movie. And it also lets you expand on that by encountering scenarios that didn't happen in the movie. Like you can get into what ifs. Like what if I didn't really read all the advanced stuff, but you can say like what if they the group of characters manages to get to a rescue station, or they're trying to find a rescue station and stuff like that. They get in a car. Spoiler alert, if you care about spoilers for a 50-plus-year-old movie, what if the truck didn't explode and they managed to get away, things like that. And so yeah, each time you play this game, you choose a scene. In the rule book here, there are 10 scenes, and these are the scenarios, right? Some of them are from the movies, and I'm going to play the very first one because I'm a beginner. That's called What's Happening. But as you progress through these, and you don't have to play them in order, you can pick any one you want. It gets to all this crazy stuff, and like here's the one I just mentioned, To Willard. Now, if you're an aficionado of the movie, you might remember Willard. If not, well, that's basically just a town that they saw on the TV had a rescue station. So their plan was to get to Willard. So in this version, I think if you play that scene or maybe one of the ones right after that, you can actually try to escape to Willard. And if you look at scene 7, here's one called Go Get Johnny, which Johnny, who actually died. I don't know, spoiler alert again. You actually have to bring closure, I guess, for Barbara's sake, to kill the Johnny zombie. And so it had a bunch of cool expansions upon what is actually in the movie. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, exactly, Brian. You're from around here? All right, so I have the board set up for the first scenario, which is What's Happening, which is not like the show What's Happening, but it's more like when Barbara starts melting down shortly after meeting Ben, she just kind of starts crying, "What's happening? What's happening?" So that's the idea. We can read the sort of flavor text about what this scenario entails right here. And it says, Ben was attacked by an army of ghouls at Beekman's Diner. Let me fold this a little bit so you can get it under here a little better. And barely escaped inside a car. However, its tank is running empty. He managed to pull up to a gas pump only to realize that it's locked. Staying calm, Ben notices a house nearby and decides to enter it, hoping to find the keys to the pump. Ben finds Barbara, still in shock from all the horror befalling her. A nasty surprise awaits both of them on the second floor, as the house's owner met a grisly doom. Not long after, Helen, Harry, Judy, and Tom burst out from the basement, and a short argument ensues over the best course of action to adopt. Everyone agrees, somewhat reluctantly, to barricade the house from the ghouls outside. So that's kind of where we are in this scenario. Ryan said you have to mention Dawn of the Dead 3D to the viewers. Okay, it looks like there's only 2 viewers, but so you and the other guy. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead 3D, I saw that today. So I'm having a total George Romero zombie day. more so than usual. Yeah, so Dawn of the Dead, there's like a 3D remaster. I don't know what the term is for that. That's playing in theaters, Regal theaters. You can look that up if you want. Dawn of the Dead being the sort of sequel to Night of the Living Dead. I say sort of because it doesn't feature the same characters. It just like kind of uh, it follows the progression of the whole zombie issue, but it's a totally different set of characters. But that was a lot of fun. I saw it today. The 3D doesn't add a lot, but it's nice. It was nice seeing it on a big screen more than anything. And I felt like I was noticing a lot of details that I didn't see before, which is probably mostly due to the large screen, but also I feel like some of the depth that's provided by the 3D effect kind of helped me see more things, and certain bits of each shot would pop out a little more. It was very cool. Um, there were some technical difficulties that other theaters had, and in the Facebook group about Dawn of the Dead, I mean, a lot of people complained, and I thought I thought the print itself was totally foobar or something. There was a lot of complaints, but when the complaints kept rolling in, one of the common threads was that it was really bad. The image looked really terrible. Sometimes they said out of focus. Sometimes they just said it looked like garbage initially. And then someone would complain, and then whoever's running the projector would fix it. So it seemed like for some reason the people running the projectors at Regal weren't prepared to, like, I don't know, adjust the lens correctly or put on the right lens. And so at some theaters, a lot of theaters apparently, it was just bad for like 8 minutes or 20 minutes, depending on who you ask. At the theater I went to, it was totally fine. It looked perfect. Another complaint I heard was that the volume tended to be low. It was not low in my theater. Everything was great. There were like 10 people in the whole theater. I had like the perfect seat, the center, not all the way up front, but like, decent number of rows back. And I got to enjoy one of my favorite movies by myself in 3D in a theater. I'd never seen it in a theater before because when it was released, I was a fetus. So my mom didn't really take me to see it at that younger an age because I couldn't appreciate movies when my eyes aren't open yet. Um, and Ryan says I would love to see all the Romero movies on the big screen. Yeah, I've seen Night, which was another kind of a revival screening. That was in 2018, I believe, maybe 2019. Um, and I've seen Dawn of the Dead just today. Never seen Day of the Dead in the theater. Anyway, yeah, instead of talking about movies, maybe we should play the game. My usual disclaimer applies. As always, I want to find time in the day or days before to play this a few times, so I'm not struggling with rules and rules questions live. Time always gets away from me. That's how it is. I figured after the movie today, I could dedicate a few hours to doing this, but what happened was that I wound up having to run a bunch of errands essentially, and that's fine. Oh yeah, I saw Land of the Dead 2 and Diary of the Dead. I almost only count the first three. But when I saw Diary of the Dead, George Romero himself was there, and he took questions after. I also He also did questions at a screening of the Crazies I saw in 2006, in which he signed my Dawn of the Dead Ultimate Edition box set. So that was pretty cool. So I've seen him do Q&As twice. And here's a little story for if anybody cares. I was actually between jobs when I saw the Crazy screening in 2006. So I paid whatever it was, $20 with, and I guess another 20 for my ex, who I was with at the time, to see the movie. And I thought I could just get it signed, get something signed. I had like a little bag of all the movies I owned by him. But I guess I liked the Dawn Ultimate Edition the best, so I chose that one to get signed. But anyway, when it came time to meet George, it was a big long line. And then as I was like halfway through the line, I hear people saying you have to have your money ready or whatever. I was like, oh, I wasn't prepared for that. And it turned out it was something like $50 to get the autograph. And I'm weighing this in my mind. I'm jobless right now. I'm kind of eating bologna and stuff like that. I know I can get a job soon. But, I just have to keep plugging at it though. But I'm weighing the pros and cons, and I say, I'm just gonna issue the autograph. I just can't justify it. So I got to George, and I said the usual hello. I love all your films and stuff, but I can't afford to get something signed today. I'm between jobs. And he says, well, what do you got in the bag there? Maybe I can smuggle something for you. So I said, oh, okay. And I handed him my Dawn box, and he signed it. And that was the phrase he used. Maybe I can smuggle something for you. And one of the other people was trying to like intervene, like, oh no, they weren't able to pay, and George just kind of waved them off. So that was really cool. And Yeah, so that's my George Romero story. Meeting George Romero, he he let me get away with a free autograph. And so yeah, that's crazy. Is a fun movie too, by the way. I don't like it as much as the zombie one, but that's pretty fun. Anyway, we don't want to talk about George Romero movies all day. Here, let's talk about Creep Show. No, I'll try to get into the game yet. Again, I don't really know the rules that well. I read them all, but I haven't played them out, so I'll be referring to the rules a lot. But let's go over what we got on the board here. This is the farmhouse from the movie Night of the Living Dead, of course. As usual, I have a limited range field of view for my camera, and so I'm cutting a little bit of it off. There is some outdoor area up here. I don't think this area will be used much in this game. If it is, I will adjust the camera accordingly. But what we have here is, yeah, it's supposed to be right at the beginning. And we have 4 characters in the cellar. And we have, well, let me go over each one of those. And by the way, because it's an overhead view, you might not be able to tell who's who very well, unfortunately. But you do have the colored bases, which hopefully can identify people. So we have in green, it is Harry Cooper wielding a tire iron, I believe. In red, we have Judy, who all she does in the real movie is go, my jacket's caught, and blow up. But in this game, she's a little more useful. And by the way, one thing I wanted to mention real quick that I was thinking about talking about is when you try to make a board game capture the spirit of a movie, sometimes it's more feasible than others. In Night of the Living Dead, it's not like your stereotypical zombie genre movie. When you think of a stereotypical genre, zombie movie, you think of the band of heroes and they're all packing heat and they go out blasting zombies and stuff. And there's not really much of a feel of that in Night of the Living. They're just like localized to a couple of characters in small bursts. Mostly they're just arguing and trying to get along and discovering the problem, boarding up the house. Um, there's a lot of drama unfolding through dialogue. Yeah, Ryan says it's much more of a character study. I agree. So the action and the gore and stuff is used sparingly, and it might just be because they didn't have the budget, but it works out really well. For anyone who likes the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But when you're going to translate it to board game form, another thing, by the way, is our one of the people who you start thinking is the hero at the beginning or the heroine is Barbara, and she just totally loses her mind and goes catatonic, and she can barely talk, and collapses, and it's kind of spacey the rare time she does talk. So that's kind of cool. Um, but yeah, in this game, everyone's useful. Another thing probably worth mentioning is in the original movie, pretty much all the women are useless. So you could argue it's a little bit on the sexist side, but here everyone is a hero. That's basically it. It's translated to a game format, so there's no use having Barbara lying on the couch the whole time, right? So it's maybe in a sense doesn't perfectly capture the spirit of the film, but it's a game, so it has to take some liberties, I guess, right? What are we gonna do? Argue? And I'll be like this the whole time. I tell you, the cellar is the safest place. The cellar is a death trap. We gotta stay up here. Well, where do you want to go, Tom? Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe he has a point, Mr. Cooper. I mean, if we box ourselves in the cellar and those things get in, we're done for. At least up here we got a fighting chance. I think that's my line. At least up here we got a fighting chance. This man's insane. This man's insane. Okay, he suddenly turned into the penguin. Helen Cooper does have spunk against her husband Harry. That's true. It's not like she's a total pushover, but Judy is totally useless, really. Barbara, I do like the way I like how Barbara is. I like what they do with her, but for an action game, she would be useless. Anyway, let's go over the rest of the stuff here. We have these 2 pieces here. Actually, I didn't introduce all the characters. We got Harry, we got Judy, and once again, my camera doesn't like to focus sometimes, so bear with me. Here is in yellow we have Tom. I'll try to show them for a little bit longer each. And Ryan says he got to beat. Oh yeah, he likes the 90s remake. Okay, I like the 90s remake to some extent. I don't know. I feel like it loses me at a couple certain points. Like Barbara just saying, "Well, you can just walk past them." It's like, okay, you solved the genre now. Anyway, this is Helen Cooper, who's mostly concerned about. In the movie, she's mostly concerned about her daughter who's been bitten by a zombie, and this being the first introduction to zombies, we don't, they're not aware that that's a death sentence, and she's also concerned about Harry arguing and not getting along with people. And then outside here, right inside the front door, we have Ben, who's generally considered the hero of the movie, although people argue that maybe Harry Cooper's assessment of the situation was better, that they should have just holed up in the cellar. And then we have Barbara, who we talked about a little bit. Here she's holding a knife. There's like about 5 minutes in the movie where she grabs a kitchen knife and she's stalking around. But after that, she's kind of just totally useless. Anyway, So those are the six characters. And I have a character tree. As always, I have trouble managing all the space that's in the camera view, but I do have one of these trays for each character. And that's cool, by the way, Ryan, that you got to meet Tony Todd. Tony Todd played Ben in the 90s remake, and he also is probably more famously known as Candyman. Excuse me. So this is what a character tray looks like. This one's for Harry, obviously. The colors match the base, so that helps you to just eyeball them quickly. Everybody can hold two items, one in each hand. So I drew randomly what each person is armed with, and Harry has a crowbar. They can also hold three other cards in their quote-unquote backpack. So if I ever need to do that, I just put them standing up in the slots here. So yeah, you can hold five items all together and two in your hands. If you want to shuffle between backpack and things, you can spend one action in your turn doing that. You get three actions for each character in a turn. What else is worth noting? We have the character card here, of course. Oh God, Ryan's making jokes about the 30th anniversary edition of Night of the Living Dead, which we absolutely hate. Most people absolutely hate. He says, "Mark, I think you forgot to show the figures of the guys that are supposed to bury Bill Heinzman." So, yeah, here's Harry. There's not much character, stats on the card. There's these things that, basically as you kill zombies and other things can give you experience, you can advance in level. So there's a slider at the bottom that's called the danger meter or something like that. And every time you beat a zombie, you knock it up a notch. Also, other things will knock it up depending on the scene you're in. In the scene that we're in right now, all we're trying to do is board up all the windows. And every time we do that, we get 5 experience. So what we can see here is once we get this slider up to level 7, meaning 7 experience points, basically Harry has leveled up and he would get taunted. Okay, he can taunt people. He'd be like, "You son of a bitch." That man's crazy. Okay. But what I learned is that now I think I described this wrong to you, Ryan, when we were talking about this recently. I kind of thought there were two different modes of play in which there's a traditional thing, or you can just throw the kind of restraint in the original movie out the window and just go crazy, where everybody's throwing around, you know, crazy weapons and they have machine guns and stuff. And the real ridiculous one is Helen Cooper is shown dual wielding katana. I mean, it's almost like, that's more like the stereotypical zombie movie where everybody has these over the top weapons and, chainsaws mounted to cars and things like that. And I thought that was like a separate mode, and you can keep them separate if you wanted to keep the original feel of the movie intact or not. But that's not the case. I learned after reading the rules today. It's actually you by default you're in the Romero mode, which is this, but as a bonus, there's different things that can trigger you to turn into Zombicide mode, in which you are simply more powerful because you get more of these special abilities, or I think they're called skills, for your level. So yeah, in this particular scene, I can turn into Zombicide mode by, if anyone has the Winchester 94, which is this gun right here, and he gives it to someone else, then it improves his trust level. That's what it says. And then your character can go into Zombicide mode for doing that. And what does Ryan say here? I would generally like to meet someone who would try to defend the 30th anniversary. I wonder if, what's his name, John Russo would, or any of those actors involved. For those who don't know, by the way, the 30th anniversary was like a hack job of the film. They didn't touch the. Actually, I think they did cut out original things. I think I heard, but basically they added something like 10 or 15 minutes of footage, and it's kind of generally regarded as a huge mistake. It's like worse than the Star Wars editing with like Rito shooting first and stuff like that. It was like, geez, it's really bad. It's like the worst thing is probably this priest. And first of all, he has a goatee that looks like he's from the 90s. Hey, because they recorded it in the 90s, they filmed it in the 90s, and he like goes on these religious rants that are really kind of out of place somehow. And he actually gets bitten by the first zombie we meet. We call him the Bill Hinsman zombie, but he's sometimes known as the cemetery ghoul. And the priest just kind of towards the end of the movie like starts saying like "Be gone, foul demon of hell" or something, and doesn't want to run away from this zombie and lets himself get bitten. And then it cuts till years later, and it says that he starts ranting, preaching to some woman that he's in a room with, I guess a reporter, and he says like, because holy water was poured on his bite, he's still okay. And it's like, oh, it's like you're just crapping over the entire series here. Like, oh, no one ever figured out they could just use holy water. Anyway, it's really garbage. There's more to it that's garbage too. It's like they felt the need to. I'll just let's say one more thing about it before moving on. They felt the need to give a little bit of a backstory to the initial zombie, the Bill Hinsman zombie. So apparently he was a child molester who was executed, and I don't know. You have people like saying they don't want to. They didn't want the priest to give him any, final prayer because he was such a horrible person. And it's like, why are you adding this unnecessary detail? It doesn't really add anything. I don't know. Anyway, it's just a mess. And it was actually, I watched it on a Friday during my lunch break, and I could barely work for the rest of the day because it was so bad, so bad. Ryan says I'm Catholic and I don't like the inclusion of the priest. I mean, it's fine. Catholicism's totally fine. It's just, um, it was like a whole fire and brimstone preaching thing, and it was just really ridiculous. I don't know. And there's more to it too. Just everything seemed out of place. Like you could tell the new film wasn't. I don't know much about filmmaking, but it wasn't like the same kind of film or not using the same techniques or something. And oh, I get angry just thinking about it. So let me stop there. Let's check my pulse on my watch. It's up to 150. Holy crap! Just kidding. Okay, let me try to focus on the game and figure out what the hell I'm doing here. So yeah, in this scenario, we're mostly just trying to board up all the windows. And you can see in this scenario book where they tell you what you have to do, they kind of made all the windows kind of glowing blue to show you where they are. And you can see there are 3 on this side, 4 on this side, so it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 windows, or windows, as Tom says in the movie, that we have to board up. And so that's the deal. We just have to board them up. There's also I think a piece I forgot to place here that is I have to look at what that actually means. I think it's the cellar boarding up. It goes here. Or maybe that's for the upstairs. I'm a little confused actually. It goes here, it says. So I'll have to look into what that means. Um but yeah, we all meet up. We get to skip the whole arguing and whether we're going into the cellar and stuff. That's all gonna happen automatically. And we're all gonna agree to board up the place. So we have 11 windows that we have to board up. Some of these pieces represent doors inside the house that we can just grab this piece to simulate that we've taken apart the door to use as wood for boarding. So we can just have someone next to it in either room to pick it up, and then they can place it on the window to board up. That's the general idea. But you may notice there's not enough of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe. 5 boards that we can take and 11 windows. So I gather from skimming the rules that some of the cards in the decks that we can search through will have boards as well. I think this one's called the house deck. This is the only deck that we can search through, draw a card from when we issue a search action, unless we are in zombicide mode, and then we can get crazy stuff. Like again, the stuff that I find is more like for the over the top ridiculous action movie thing where you can find like Uzis and stuff. So they're in the game whether I like it or not, basically. So, yeah, Ryan says some windows were high up in the movie, so they didn't board them up. But watching it, looks like they missed boarding them up. Yeah, that's right. There's one scene where Ben is specifically telling Barbara that I think it's Barbara, that we got the house boarded up good. And you see right behind him, there's a window that hasn't been boarded at all. And I was watching the DVD recently, and they had the actors, some of the actors speaking throughout. It's one of those commentary DVDs, and they said that they forgot to kind of present this to the audience, but that side of the house was built on like almost a really steep hill, almost a cliff. So they didn't feel they needed to board that, but they didn't. They forgot to kind of put that into the exposition. So it looks like they just forgot that window. Okay. So yeah, we got these boards we can pick up. I forget how exactly this thing works. This is oh, this is the cellar here. This is for the upstairs. So why don't we go over the objectives in this scenario? That's probably a good thing to do. Okay, so the objectives are barricade the house. The game is won as soon as both conditions are met simultaneously. There's two conditions. All indicated windows, the blue ones that I showed you, all 11, are blocked with closed barricades. And there are no ghouls in the house. So we can't just close up the house with a dozen ghouls inside. Otherwise, yeah, it doesn't count for winning. We would have to clean them up first. So we're all in Romero mode to start with. Barbara and Ben are where I showed you, and the rest are in the cellar area. Set open barricade tokens in the designated places. That did that. Now the rifle here, the Winchester 94, is in this room. So I can step into there and issue a search action and just get it off the bat without having to dig through one of these decks for it. So that game is nice. It gives me that. um, see, someone stopped in and then they just left. Other things that are going on, trusting each other. This is what I mentioned before. Whoever gets this, you can just hand it to another person and go into zombicide mode because it's signaling trust or something. I guess it's supposed to represent that, we had this whole bickering and stuff, and maybe if you say, hey, you can use this gun, then that person thinks highly of you, and so you get superpowers apparently. So again, you could probably tell I'm not totally sold on this zombicide mode thing where you power up, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna roll with it. Equipment stashes. The melee and ranged equipment decks can only be searched in the designated zones only while in zombicide mode. Yeah, I think I kind of missed which designated zones those are. And so again, you just draw from the house deck normally, but if you're in zombicide mode, you can draw the okay, I see. You can also draw the ranged weapons and melee weapons. So the designated zones are, this is like in the legend sort of. So in the red area, I can search for melee stuff if I'm in zombicide mode, and in the green, I can search for ranged. And where those are is here is the green one. So upstairs, I can search for ranged. So I guess I could find an Uzi next to the dead body essentially. And over here, sorry, over here, which is right outside I guess the back door or one of the back doors. Yeah, one of the back doors. I can search for ranged stuff. So there could be like, no, sorry, melee stuff. So there could be apparently a katana can be there. I don't. Yeah, Ryan says it should be a separate mode. Right? Yeah, I mean, we could have dual wielding katana Helen Cooper apparently in this game. And I kind of assumed that's what it was. It was a separate mode when I glanced at the game. Then when I read over the rules, I realized it's not that at all. What else we got? Yeah, so we went over the equipment stashes. The corpse lady. The first time a survivor reaches the stairs zone on tile R4, which is this one right here. All survivors in zombicide mode shift to Romero mode. So that's supposed to kind of symbolize that we all get shocked and freaked out, and maybe it knocks our mojo down a peg because we find that horrible corpse, which is probably the most horrible corpse in the whole movie. And what you can do to get rid of the corpse is you spend 2 actions. So you have 3 actions a turn for each character. So somebody can remove it by spending 2 actions. Makeshift barricades. Open barricade tokens represent open passageways surrounded by wood that can be used to barricade the windows. Each barricade token straddles 2 zones. And by the way, each space is called a zone, sort of, and they're very large spaces. So it's not like the other games we were playing recently where we got to count like 1, 2, 3, 4. So they kind of just give you really large spaces. They call them zones. So this is a zone, this is a zone, this is a zone. And outdoors we have, this is a zone. Oh, sorry, my hand's in the way. This is a zone, this is a zone. Basically just large spaces. Anyway. Yeah, so each barricade straddles 2 zones. In other words, this, does that count as a barricade? I don't know. I guess this is an open barricade token. So if I'm in this zone or this one, I can grab the barricade. That's all it's saying, basically. And when you pick up the barricades, you would put them on your little tray doodad here. But it doesn't count towards your limit of the 2 in your hand, 2 items in your hands and 3 in your backpack. You can just grab as many boards as you want, apparently. Once you put it on a window, you spend 1 action to do that. You put a barricade token from the survivor's inventory to set it across the window, and the survivor earns 5 experience points. So that's like the chief way of leveling up in this particular scene, is just putting the board on the window. Now here's the thing though, as you level up, let me show you what happens. So there's these zombie cards, or they call them ghouls, to try to stick with. One thing I like about this a lot is, despite my complaint about the zombicide mode, they try to be consistent with the kinds of terms they use in the movie. Like they use the term ghouls and never zombies, despite the game being called Zombicide. But if I can find the zombie cards, I'm sorry, the ghoul cards. Yeah, the way it works is you draw a card to see what kind of ghouls appear, and it's multiplied depending on the highest level of any of your characters, right? So if I have one character at the orange level, then if I draw this particular walker's card, 5 Bill Hinsman zombies appear, 5 walkers appear in one of the spawn points. And the spawn points are these two guys. This is one of them. You can see it just shows a horde of zombies. Actually, it shows, I guess, maybe some of the more iconic ones in the film. Although they're usually, most of these are maybe not seen together, like Karen Zombie is not, I know that. And Ryan says, when I think of the classic Night of the Living Dead shot, it's all the zombies and the zombies wearing like a hospital gown or maybe a sleeping gown. Yeah, yeah, I agree. There should be more, this is the other spawn point, by the way. There should be more this kind of simpler, stark zombies in zombie movies. They're always trying to like outgore each other and have, you know, I don't know. I kind of like just like they look like actually what you would see old people from funerals and stuff like that in there, or people in hospital gowns and things. You know, there's one naked one. Maybe she was in a morgue. Anyway, um, yeah, people in suits, people in hospital gowns, things like people in their boxer. Yeah, well, I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, there's two spawn points. I forget what the white and the red ones mean specifically though. But you know, I'm gonna be fumbling through the rules a lot, so you'll have to bear with me as we figure it out together. Anyway, maybe we'll just jump into it and we'll get to each issue as we encounter it. So yeah, we have this house. We have these two are right next to a spawn point. As you can see, they're in the same space actually, or same zone. I think it's the same zone. So let me go over zones real quick, just to make sure I have it down. So it's basically what I said, but I think there might be some nuance here. Zones. Sorry. Line of sight. Well, I have a handle on the line of sight. I don't want to explain all. I don't know. I can't find the definition of zones right now. Okay, so I think it's basically just they're in the same zone as these zombies, the zombie horde spawn point, so they can appear right there. So I'm probably gonna want to run inside with these two guys, Barbara and Ben, and then we'll meet up with the cellar folk and do stuff. So yeah, the plan is going to be to cooperate. Imagine that. And everybody be useful. Also imagine that. So yeah, we have 11 windows to board up. We might as well start running around and doing stuff. So you can see right here, there's kind of a platform here for the cellar, and we have to open this door. I think that's an action to do. So the actions you can do, by the way, 3 actions per character, and they're called the survivors, by the way, if you want the technical name that the rules gives them. There's move, search, you can only search once per turn, door action, which means open or close a door, barricade action, reorganize / trade, meaning basically you can shift around items, you know, move stuff from your backpack to your hands, vice versa, and or I should say trade items between characters in the same zone. Combat action, you know, it's pretty obvious what that means. Take or activate an objective. Do nothing, so you can waste your actions. There's also car actions. There's no car in this particular scene, so we're going to conveniently ignore that. So that's the player's phase, and that's all around here. I feel like this game shouldn't be that complicated once we get a handle on it. Then there's the ghouls phase. There's 2 steps to the ghouls phase. First, you go through each ghoul, and they can do one of these. They have 1 action each. My guys have 3. The ghouls each have 1, and they either move or attack. They can attack if there's a survivor in the same zone as them. Otherwise, they move. And there's rules for how they move. They favor visible survivors always, and they choose the shortest path. And they always favor the zone that has the most survivors in it. So, for example, if I had a zombie right here or a ghoul right here, let's get a miniature of one of them out ready. If I have a ghoul here, she's gonna see Ben and Barbara right here. But if, say, Harry Cooper is right next to her, you might think that maybe the rule should be she go right to Harry Cooper. No, she likes to go to whichever zone has the most people in her line of sight. So she'll go this way. And you can probably manipulate them pretty good because they're dumb like that. Like, these are about to corner these guys. Well, let's put more people in this zone here, and then they'll start walking the other direction. And there's a little bit more notes about how they move. They go the shortest path, um, but they don't try to break down barriers unless there's no other option or something like that. And there's only certain kind of ghoul that can actually um, break down barriers. They're called breakers. And Ryan says it would be cool to have like Jaws board game mode where one player plays the zombies. There are some other zombie themed board games in which a player plays the zombies. I actually think I like the automated idea better because I feel like with a player controlling them, they can be smart. Like, oh, I'm gonna have some zombies flank left and some go up the center. And I don't know. It feels weird to me that they're strategizing like that. But there are games like that if you like that idea. In any case, yeah, let's jump into it. Harry Cooper's not there, so let's do it. We can move all six of our guys. Now, this game you can play with multiple people, and you can split up the characters, but I'm playing all six. So yeah, I'm a little bit, as usual, I'm a little overwhelmed at first. Let me check what this door does, because I did just see that in the rules. I might as well read that. I think the Dawn of the Dead game from the 70s lets one player control the zombies. And I heard one of the problems is that it tends to be like the zombie player like kind of put little outposts of zombies here and there. And I don't know. Turns into a stalemate a lot, I heard. Anyway, let's see. I'm trying to find the stupid door thingy. Flipping through the rulebook, always fun. Here we go. Stairway token. Considered to be... Oh, okay. It's basically just a door for all intents and purposes. And I guess that's closed because this one shows stairs. It looks like it's kind of on its hinge, like off the hinges though, so I don't know. I guess that's closed. Okay, so what should I do? Let's plan. The general idea, of course, is again going to be try to get these things, these wood, and place them on the windows. Yeah, let's just start running around, I guess. By the way, I guess I should look at everybody's abilities. Right now, because they're all level 1, nobody has any abilities. So that kind of keeps it simple. But we'll gradually be gaining abilities as we go. I guess I didn't show every character. Maybe I should do that. Ben has a table leg. You randomly draw what each person has. Helen also has a table leg. Barbara has a tire iron. And you can see Ben wielding a tire iron a lot early in the movie. Judy has a claw hammer. And Tom has also a table leg. So a table leg you can use as a bludgeon, and also you can make torches with them if you find lighter, what's that called? Not kerosene or lighter fluid, something like that. Some kind of, flammable liquid stuff. And what's your favorite line, Ryan? Ryan says my favorite Romero line comes from Day of the Dead. Which one would that be? All right, let's figure this out. Okay, cellar people are going to actually come upstairs. We're going to leave poor Karen alone. That's kind of contradicting the movie right away. But we have windows to board up. So let's do that. Okay, yeah, so let's just go. I don't want to overthink it. I probably could, but so I guess the first move, we're going to move Tom first. Tom is yellow. He's going to open this door. That's one action. The door is open now. Now everybody else can pass through freely. 2. And just notice that this area is closed off, so you can't go from the cellar to this, only to here. Okay, so that's the second action is to move there. And I guess his third might as well be to pick up the boards right here. So he's doing that. All right, so Tom is holding these boards, and that's his whole turn. Oh, those are funny lines, yeah. I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein, and I want to know what the bleep you're doing with my time. I do like that one too. Monkey farm. I used to, not to get too ridiculous, I used to have this cat who was a real mean cat. She hated everybody. And I used to kind of do a weird voice for her that kind of sounded like this, and I would kind of make fun of her aloofness and her hatred of everybody. Her name was Jade, so I'd be like, "Hey, I'm Jade. Get the hell away from me, mofo!" And sometimes I would inject some Captain Rhodes lines, like she'd be like, "Get the hell out of my house! I'm running this monkey farm now." so, so I used to put Captain Rhodes into the cat's voice, the cat's dialogue that I made up. Anyway, yeah. So Tom did that. I guess I'm just gonna make other people kind of do similar. So here's Helen Cooper. She's gonna go 1, 2, pick up boards. Okay, go Helen. She can actually play some boards right now. She actually is more useful already than in the entire movie. And 3, this window is boarded right here. The windows are boarded. Okay. You can see, generally, it seems the actions are pretty simple. Obviously, it can get more complicated with combat and stuff. But, yeah. So far, it seems pretty straightforward. I mean, obviously, we haven't actually had any zombies come, so. All right, let's keep going with that. You know, my inclination is to plan out everybody's moves and make sure the final result is good, but that's not conducive to actually making things happen. so let's keep going. So let's take Harry Cooper. He goes 1, and he's gonna say, "What am I doing up here? The cell is the safest place." 1, 2, and he takes these boards. 3, that's his turn. Okay, that means Judy could probably run for these boards here, but she's not going to get there this turn, I don't think. Oh. Thinking about planning things better. I'm realizing that it's not a big deal. Let's just go with it. I was going to say that Ben and Barbara won't be able to run over here and board up these. These are actually doors. I'm not supposed to actually board up doors, but there's a window here. I don't know. It's weird they don't have to board up the doors, only the windows. All right, whatever. Judy's gonna go 1. She can go through here actually. 2, and should she open the door to take care of the stuff upstairs? Someone might as well do that early, because when you so basically there's the corpse of the previous owner up here, and someone has to take care of that, because if I don't do it ahead of time, what's going to happen is somebody's going to turn to Zombicide mode, which is a bonus, and then if we do it later, it negates the Zombicide mode. So I might as well do it while nobody's in Zombicide mode. What I do? A 1, 2, 3 to open the door. All right, so now we have that door is open. It's a stairwell upstairs. So Judy's actually going to be the one who moves aside that corpse instead of Ben. And really, Ben does all the hard work mostly in the movie, for most of the movie. And now Ryan says, "I want your cat saying, this ain't a goddamn field trip, people. This is a war." This ain't a goddamn field trip, people. This is a war. Hey, I never used that one with Jade's voice. Okay. Yeah, Jade was a crazy cat. You had she's very antisocial. Sometimes I had another cat at the same time who was the opposite, and sometimes you could coax Jade very gently, hold out your hand and say, "Come here, Jade, come here," and maybe offer her a little toy very gently. Don't wave it around vigorously, like, "Oh, here's a little feathery toy for you to play with," and she would slowly creep forward. But then I had this other cat named Klaus, and he'd be like, "Yeah, we're getting pets." He would just strut over and rumble over you and interrupt the whole coaxing you were trying to do. So the two were like opposites. Anyway, let's take care of Ben and Barbara need to do something. They need to go inside. So Ben's gonna step inside. It's 1. I guess we can search in rooms. That's something we're supposed to be doing, I think. Doesn't matter where? I guess it doesn't matter where. Let's search right here. Ben is going to search. Because he's not in Zombicide mode, he has to draw a house card, which is these brown ones. So Ben spends his second action searching, and he finds plenty of bullets, and that's good. You need ammo for your guns. This game doesn't want you to get bogged down into keeping track of, ammo counts, but there are shells and there are bullets, and bullets work with the Winchester, so that's great. We have, we're able to supply ammo to that once we get the 2 items together. So Ben did his second move, And I guess he might as well run towards that gun. Or he could go here and then get rid of these boards, and then these rooms will be connected, and he can also use the boards to board up a window. But for now, he has to end his move here. He can't pick up the boards. So that's Ben right here. Okay, that just leaves Barbara is going to step inside one. Action two is going to be to close the door. We don't want to leave the door open for zombies, right? And I'm thinking, though, even though the game doesn't specify that you have to board up the doors to win, it's probably a good idea to do it anyway. But that's two actions, because apparently closing the door takes as long as boarding up a door. But she has one more action to do, and I'm not sure what to make her do at the moment. I guess she can search too, so yeah, let's search. So Barbara's searching in the same room, and she finds plenty of shells. Okay, so if we wind up with a shotgun, we can have the ammo for that gun as well. So Barbara's running around with a tire iron and a box of shells, basically. Thank you for the likes, people. 2 likes. I guess it's everybody's turn, right? Yeah, everybody. Now it's going to get scary because we actually have to deal with zombies. So let's see what happens during the ghoul phase, as they call it. All right, so the first thing is all pre-existing zombies move, but there aren't any. So we just do the second step, I guess, of the ghoul phase, which is spawning. So you find the white ghoul spawn token, which is this lovely crowd right here. And you draw a ghoul card. Read the ghoul type. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. And again, you look at the experience level of the best character you have. Now we're all level, whatever you want to call it, level blue. So we're going to use the blue option when we draw the zombie card. So here it is. Sorry, the ghoul card, ghoul card. It's funny that this movie doesn't want you to say the word zombie, but it's a zombie genre. Oh, we got relatives off the bat. Okay. Oh, nothing happens because it's blue. It's only a threat later in the game. They're not supposed to come early, I guess. So because we're the blue level again, yeah, Johnny would have come. There's 2 relative cards. It's Johnny and the girl Karen. I don't know if it matters which one you use, but yeah, nothing happened basically. So that's great. Getting a nothing happened is great, right? Okay, so that's the whole ghoul turn, and we're back to the heroes again, I guess. Not the heroes, the survivors. Okay, let's keep making things happen. So I said Judy was gonna take care of the lady upstairs, so why don't we make that happen? And there's no token for the horrible corpse. That's what I mean when I say the lady upstairs. But she can go up one, and she sees it and shrieks, and everybody's freaked out, so we go back to Romero mode, but nobody's in Zombicide mode, so basically nothing happened. And she spends her second and third actions together, moving the body away so that it doesn't freak people out. I wonder where Ben actually put that in the movie. He just kind of slid her away on a rug, right? I guess just out of the way of the hall. But now that opens up, we're allowed to search up here. There's not an actual board for the upstairs, but you just kind of pretend she's up there, I guess. And that is one of the special search areas, I believe, but we have to be in Zombicide mode to make that happen, if I recall correctly. In other words, it's not very useful right now, but it could be later. Yeah, so this room here upstairs, it's the green search zone, which means you can find ranged weapons up there. I guess the guns are stored upstairs or something. But we have to be in Zombicide mode first just for that to happen. Now we can make Zombicide mode happen by, again, if you have the Winchester and you hand it to somebody, then you get, by you I mean that character who gave it away, becomes Zombicide mode. So they're like an action hero mode essentially, and they get more powerful or something. Okay, but we did Judy. So what now? Maybe Harry should. I don't know. I don't know if I trust Harry getting the gun. I don't know about that. I've seen the movie, but he seems to be he seems to be the closest person, and then he could actually hand it off to somebody and become zombicided. All right, so but there's a board in the way first. He already's holding board. Should he just board up a window, perhaps? I guess we should do that. I'm thinking though that given the spawn points, we might want to board up the windows where the spawn points are. Might want to prioritize those. So, in other words, this room has two windows. Windows. There's a back door though as well. The back window, I mean. Okay, so maybe I'll run him towards the back. So he'll go one, two, pick up the boards. He has two sets of boards now, so he's actually um, holding a lot of them. He got he got the lion's share of the boards. But then we can do one more action, which is three. However, he doesn't have any more actions to pick up the gun. He'd have to issue a search action, and nor can he board up this window this turn. But we've picked up all the. Oh no, this one board is still here. And these are just boards specifically pertaining to doors inside the house, by the way. It's supposed to be we disassemble the doors. We can search and find more boards. And Ryan has a comment. He says, I rarely think of Russ Schreiner. He's the actor of Johnny, by the way. But he has one of the most iconic horror movie, maybe just movie in general lines. Yeah, he does. He was in a chat I was in. There was this Night of the Living Dead chat. The official Facebook group. Some people related to that. I don't know. Most of them are just fans, I think. But Gary Striner, who's the brother of Russ Striner, and he was also the sound. I think the sound technician of the movie. He was in the chat. It was cool because there was like 9 people in the whole chat. It was like nobody, and Russ Striner was there, and I wanted to like thank him or something for being awesome. I didn't know what to say. I think I just said, "Hey, it was cool that you were in that movie." I don't remember how I phrased it, but he didn't really respond in the chat. Anyway, it was basically me and Johnny's brother and a few other people in the chat. Um, but Barbara wasn't there. Okay, so I moved Judy and Harry Cooper. What's Ben doing in here? What was our plan with Ben? He has no boards actually. He could grab these boards and do something useful. Yeah, he should probably do that. He could actually pick up as his first action, move here as his second, and board up this window right here, which is right in front of the zombie horde. So that's probably a great idea. Let's do that. So we're gonna say he does that, and now this window is boarded. The window. By the way, I'm just kind of saying window because every time Tom in the movie talks about the windows, he says the windows. Looks like you got the windows boarded up. Things like that. It's just an accent thing. I like to make fun of accents, even though, I could probably make fun of my own speaking. My own speech. Yeah. So, okay. We still have a lot of people in this front room. And none of them have moved this turn. So what to do? So Barbara doesn't have any boards. Tom has one board, so we could probably board up the windows. I'm just gonna amuse myself all night with that. I don't know why. I find it hilarious. Uh, Helen Cooper, I don't know what I'm doing with her. And there's also again the door is a good thing to board up as well. I think the zombies can go through any of these just as easily. But yeah. Ryan says amazing to think that was that Keith Wayne's only movie. He did a good job in this movie. I think everybody did a good job acting except maybe the Judy character. She wasn't bad, just she didn't really have a much to say. And probably the worst acting in this movie, in my opinion, is when Tom and Judy are having their moment together and they like kiss and stuff. That was a little awkward. But overall, I think the acting is really good, especially Dwayne Jones as Ben. Carl, what's his name as Cooper did a great job. Everyone did a great job mostly. A lot of people like just dismiss all horror movie actors as terrible. I think they did great. And there was a lot of chatting. Barbara, Judith O'Dea as Barbara, you could argue that she's mostly silent, but she does a good job while silent. I think she did. And she did a good job bickering with her brother, character brother, and acting scared when he was taunting her. Anyway, let's get back to the point. Yeah, so Tom is gonna board up the window right here. It's one action. Now we really got to start finding things. I think we have to search a lot in this game. So, since nobody's in zombicide mode, still searching anywhere is as good as anywhere else. By the way, one thing I wanted to mention that when I saw your comment, Ryan, is in the commentary I listened to most recently. No, it was an interview I listened to. Somebody was saying that Keith Wayne, who played Tom, was kind of like I don't know, he was acting like he was the big superstar and chilling out with his sunglasses on and things like that, and acting like he was, you know, an experienced actor. Maybe he was. I don't know. I forget the deets. Anyway, that's one action. Let's do two more. He's gonna search. So we do the house search again, and Tom finds a flashlight. Is that actually useful? Yeah, it is because what happens is when you have this and you search, you can draw two cards, and it may be used in the backpack. So you don't even have to put it in your hand. I guess they just want it to be that you don't have to shuffle things around so much. It's assumed that you do, I guess. So Tom is gonna hold that. He just puts it in his other hand. He doesn't have to resort to his backpack just yet. He has a table leg and a flashlight in his hands. And Ryan says, I don't like how Dwayne Jones seemed annoyed, dismissive of Night of the Living Dead, but I have to admit he was great in the role. He was great in the role. I heard a story. So there's a college right by here called SUNY Old Westbury, and he taught there. And apparently there was a story when, I mean, this was I guess it was in the 80s. He died in like 88, I think, or something like that. And there's a story where some students weren't. He never like boasted of this role because I guess he wasn't really proud of it and wasn't into the horror stuff or whatever. But their students were just. I think they were in a cafeteria and the movie came on the TV and they were like, "Wait a minute, that's our professor." They didn't even realize it. But yeah, SUNY Old Westbury is like it's like 20 miles from me. So Dwayne Jones used to teach there. Anyway, yeah, that was Tom's second movie. We can do one more. So I have to consider that people can trade objects in the same zone. So he could use his third action to do that. I don't really see a specific need to, but it's something he could do. He can't search again because there's only one search per turn per person. But it's like, where do I want him to go? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm at a loss. Because we've picked up all the boards. All there really is to do now is search, get this gun, try to get into zombicide mode, and try to get the advanced stuff, advanced items when we're in zombicide mode. And Ryan says when I met Tony Todd, he said he memorized all his lines just for the audition because he wanted the role so badly. I liked, oh, that's cool. So he really put in his due diligence so he would impress the what do you call those people, the casting directors or whatever. Okay. Harry's got so many boards. I wonder if I don't know. He's gonna be doing too much. That's my only concern. But I don't know what to do with Tom. I guess I could just make him stay here. Um, I'm gonna just put him here in this next zone because maybe there's some need for him to be there later. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good to have someone to board up this window if he comes into some wood randomly. Okay, that leaves I don't think I moved either of these two, Barbara or. And by the way, I know you can't really see these people too much, so I'll just pick them up once in a while. Barbara and Helen Cooper. She just died. Where was this thing? This is the door to the cellar right here. So yeah, what are they gonna do is the question. Helen Cooper, I guess she'll do a search as well. So let's draw a board. She finds mason jars, which, if you recognize these from the movie, they were used to make Molotov cocktails, and Harry Cooper threw them from the window, second story window, to kind of, you know, make the zombies temporarily afraid. But it says here, discard along with a flammable fluid. The survivor receives a Molotov. May be used in the backpack. Okay. Makes me wonder, was I supposed to like separate the Molotovs because you can't draw them randomly, but you're supposed to make them? I don't think I read that in the rules though. So Harry Cooper has that in his other hand now. No, sorry, not Harry Cooper. Barbara found those. So Barbara actually has an equipment issue now. So she has tire iron and plenty of shells. I mean, neither of these two things is immediately useful because you need to use them in conjunction with another item. So I'm going to make her put the mason jars in her backpack, which apparently she has a backpack, by the way. And Ryan said it was funny when he said he was in a good place during the movie. He had just had a child. I remember thinking, oh yeah, you're not Candyman. You're a human with a family and a life. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not every. It's funny that actually sometimes you hear of horror movie actors who are not really into horror. I think Dwayne Jones again said he didn't actually watch. He either said he didn't actually watch Night of the Living Dead, or maybe it was just he didn't watch Dawn and Day and such. I think it was just he didn't watch Dawn and Day. He must have watched the movie he was in. Okay. Uh, shoot, losing track of. So no, Barbara just searched. That was one action. Um, she could go in the cellar and take care of Karen. By the way, this is a room where in the movie Barbara walks in and she notices these mounted heads on the wall. This is one of them that I'm pointing to. There's another over here. This is a steer or something. Okay, so she did one move. I don't know. I'm gonna move around randomly. Let's go to the party with the Winchester. Let's go to the Winchester and wait for this all to blow over. Hopefully I'm not neglecting this side too much. Anyway, Helen Cooper now will search. Yeah, I think I said the wrong thing before. I said Helen Cooper was searching and then I gave the item to Barbara. Whatever. We just reversed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm scared now. I got the Karen poor baby card. Set a relative in the zone. Then discard this card. Okay, so I think for gameplay intents and purposes, it doesn't matter if I pick Johnny or Karen. Um, Let me check what I'm supposed to do with a relative. I don't know. I guess it's just yeah. Where do I find the stats for cards? I guess it doesn't matter much. I think it's just a regular zombie. Oh, actually, they do mention it. I think it demoralizes everybody, and again, demoralizing means you get knocked down to Romero mode instead of Zombicide mode. But again, everybody's still in Romero mode, so it might just be an ordinary zombie, I think. How'd you rank the original trilogy 1 to 3? 1, 2, 3, in my opinion. Night of the Living Dead is my favorite. Dawn second, Day third, and I like Day a lot still. I like Night because it doesn't, in a sense, it doesn't try to do too much, and it just is extremely effective in its own constraints. Dawn is just a fun romp with some horror elements, but mostly it's just about survival and stuff. And I don't know. Actually, George Romero said he's only made one horror movie. He considers Night of the Living Dead to be the only horror movie he made. The other ones are more just like kind of fun and gory romps, and I think that's kind of consistent. That's my opinion. Dawn is good a lot. Probably I think I might rank Dawn higher if there's so many moments in Dawn where you see something looks very cheaply made. Like okay, okay, you see this guy with the cheap blue paint on his face, and you can see like where he's sweating on his palms. It's all not blue, and also around his eyes where he's probably tearing a little. Or you see like somebody throw someone over the balcony, and you can really obviously tell it's a dummy in that moment. I just feel like there's a lot of I love it anyway because I kind of like the almost low budget quality to it, but I have to be very forgiving. But Night really works well for me, and and I almost sound like I don't like Dawn, but I think it's amazing. It just it has a feel of almost like a bunch of friends goofing around. Like oh, you can tell he blew up that dummy's head, things like that. And the first time I saw the zombie in Dawn who gets his head cut off by the helicopter blade, I could tell he had like this whole Frankenstein thing on his skull, on his top of his head. I knew something was going to happen. I thought he was just going to get shot up there or something. But then he steps into the helicopter blade. So I don't know. They all have very different feels, really. Day is definitely the best, like effect and makeup wise. Overall, though, I feel like I don't care about any of the protagonists in Day. And I like Captain Rhodes a lot. I liked his acting a lot. Whatever his name is, yeah, Joe Pilato. And I don't know. Overall, the main characters in Day kind of fall flat for me. Although I do enjoy the movie, and there are some moments where the acting in that movie kind of makes me go cringe a little bit. Like who's that scientist guy? The guy with the glasses, and he's like, "I will not be subject to any more of your tyranny." I was like, really? That's not very believable. I exaggerated it, but Anyway, I can talk about the movies too much. Um, sorry, what the hell was I doing? Yeah, we found, or Helen found, a relative, and I guess it would be appropriate since it's Helen Cooper and we're right next to the cellar that Karen Cooper was the relative. So let me find the piece for Karen who has crawled out from the cellar to attack her mommy. So that's different from the movie. But hey, let's roll with it. Here's Karen Cooper. She's holding a oh, she's not holding the trowel weapon. She's actually holding a chunk of meat. I guess it's supposed to be Harry because in the movie she's eating her dad. But yeah, Joe Pilato is probably the best actor in that whole movie. You're right, Ryan. And he's really scary. Probably scarier than the zombies. Um, Bub, Bub is pretty cool, but I don't know. I've heard a lot of people like, "Oh, Bud is so awesome. Bub is so awesome." He doesn't really like excite me that much. I like Dr. Frankenstein a lot too, whatever his real name is. So he's cool, good. Anyway, Karen, poor baby. Yeah. So what am I supposed to do? Let me check this again. I'm sorry. I was trying to look up what you do with a relative. So. Relative. I wish I had a PDF. I could just search for relative. Actually, might be able to find that real quick. Maybe there's an index actually. Yes, there is. Hooray for indexes. So where's Arturo tonight? Are you here, Arturo? Is it just me and Ryan? Oh yeah, the Irish guy's okay. Okay, the relative. So I found the relative, and I think you can choose either one arbitrarily. For game purposes, it doesn't matter. So that's why I chose Karen. The relatives are dear friends and family survivors. Once knew that have turned into ghouls. Having them around has a deep impact on the survivors' morale, filling them with a sense of imminent doom. So they have wounds dealt 1 to eliminate damage 1, which basically is the basic zombie stats. You just have to hurt them once to kill them, and they do 1 damage if they hit you. Excuse me, but they have the special rule as long as 1 relative or more is on the board, all survivors in Zombicide mode switch to Romero mode. Excuse me. These survivors switch back to Zombicide mode as soon as the board is clear of relatives. Be careful, the survivor skills are altered as they switch IDs. Okay, so yeah, the Irish guy does have some fun jokes. Um, yeah, so this is going to be a huge departure from the movie because in the movie, what happens is this is late in the movie, by the way. Karen, Helen goes down in the basement to retreat from the zombies all breaking in, and she's eating her dad, who had been shot by Ben. And Helen can't handle it. She kind of collapses to the ground. It's like, "Oh, Karen, my baby," and it's just kind of saying like, "No, no, no," kind of a thing. And then Karen takes a trowel and goes, ch 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 ch. It just keeps going. And she's screaming, and we have this horrible effect that's really effective, audio effect. Anyway, but in this game, what's going to happen is she comes out of the cellar and she's like, "Get out of here, bitch!" So she's going to attack. She has 2 more moves. Um, 2 more actions, so she can attack Karen Cooper right now and try to kill her with the table leg. And Ryan says I'm really trying not to just fanboy out. I can't help myself. That's totally fine. It's pretty much just me and you chatting. And I think somebody else might be here. I have 3 likes, so I guess there's other people liking this too. And it's totally relevant to talk about Romero zombie movies here, right? So yeah, I guess Helen Cooper is going to attack her. So this is our first combat attack, so we have to remind ourselves how this works. So she's got a table leg. Can you imagine? I just can't imagine in the movie Helen Cooper bludgeoning Karen. Get out of here! Get out of here! Die, zombie! But anyway, that's what's happening in the game here. Table leg. You can turn this into a torch if you have flammable fluid. But yeah. So what these mean is, first of all, this icon here means melee. So that's pretty obvious. You can't shoot a table leg. 0 is how many spaces away you can use the weapon in. So you have to be in the same zone, as they call it, which is, I think, pretty much every melee weapon. This is how many dice you roll, I believe. So I would roll one die because it's not the strongest weapon, and I will inflict a damage on the roll of a 4, 5, or 6. And if I do roll a 4, 5, or 6, I do 1 damage. So some weapons you could hit more easily and you can do more damage basically. So I think I have that right. Maybe I should review it really quick. It's the first time I'm doing it, but I think I got that right. And this isn't like a brawl where she can hurt me. It's me inflicting an attack on her. So she can't hurt me in this moment, which is different from one of the games we played recently, which was, I think, Don't Let the Wolves Eat Our Baby, in which if you attack, it's kind of a back and forth. So I could attack her, and I think maybe even attack her again if this doesn't hit. Sorry, trying to find combat. Blah, 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 blah. Flipping through rule books is always fun. But I think I got it right. Here we go, yeah. Yeah, everything I said is right, it looks like. Okay, so it's a weak weapon, this table leg. Ryan says Frankenstein's plan was idiotic, retrain all of them. Maybe if you had a billion years. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it that way, for sure, he might have just been trying to draw some kind of insight. And maybe with the insight, there could be a mass reprogramming. I don't know what he was thinking. And probably he was up a creek if he hadn't even gotten killed. You're right. I don't see how he could do that. Yeah, unless there was some. I don't. He was just trying to learn what he could. I guess. I don't know. It was pretty hopeless, really. But yeah, so let's roll. Helen Cooper is beating up Karen Cooper. I have this image. It's like totally contrary to the movie because Helen can't even handle seeing her daughter as a zombie, let alone actually fighting her. So yeah, he probably was going mad too. That's right, Ryan. And the military people, as much as they were jerks, they made sense in a way. They're like, we got to see results. Our people are dying here. But at the same time, science can't be rushed like that. Like I'm a software developer, and I know how it is when you have higher ups saying like, we got to get this done. Why is it going? And you're like, it takes time to make the research happen and the development happen. I can't just go faster unless you want me to work weekends and then I get burnt out or I quit the company. You can't quit the company in Day of the Dead though. That's the difference. Anyway, so 4, 5, or 6 will kill Karen Cooper. Long story short, and she does not kill Karen Cooper because I rolled a 1. What I could do is, with her third action, I could try to bludgeon her to death again, or I could run away. Well, let's just go for it. So Helen is going to try again to beat Karen to death with the table leg, and misses again. Uh-oh. So now she's vulnerable to being bitten by Karen. Maybe troweled to death. Actually, if you notice, they have Helen Cooper holding the trowel that killed her in the movie. That's interesting. Okay, so yeah, I was hoping one of those two attacks would kill her, but that sucks. And now we can't go into zombicide mode while Karen's alive, which was kind of my plan to get the gun and hand it to somebody else so that zombicide mode would happen. But so much for that plan for the moment. I guess somebody else can just come along and kill Karen, but that was the last character for the turn, and now it's the ghoul's turn. So yeah, the first thing that happens is Karen is going to attack Helen. So there's that. Hopefully this doesn't result in anything too bad. But one thing in this game is there's no concept of the bites being a death sentence per se. So really the worst thing that would happen is she takes 1 damage. And once you take 3 damage though, you are dead. And if any one character is dead, everybody loses. The game's over. You can argue that's kind of different from the movie because it's not like one person dying makes everybody kill themselves. I don't know. It's like I guess it seems almost like there's too much camaraderie, like all for one, which isn't really the way the movie was. Anyway, the limitations of when you know translate a movie to a board game format, obviously. But yeah, so that's the first thing that's gonna happen is Karen is attacking. And how do I do this with the zombie attacking? Bear with me, I apologize. Pretty much anytime I do something for the first time, I'm going to have to refer to the rules. I mean, like, if I had chosen to move Helen here, then Karen, all she would do is move to either here or here, and I would get to choose which one because it's like a tie for who's the more delicious target. And then all she would be able to do is move because they only get one action. So I could have avoided being attacked that way, but I did not. Anyway, let me check this zombie combat. Oh, well, that's bad. I just learned something. A ghoul's attack is always successful, does not require any die roll, and inflicts a specific number of wounds depending on its type. Basically, everybody does one damage. Every zombie does one damage except Fatty. Fatty is the strong one. Fatties do two damage and they take two damage. So yeah, Ellen Cooper just bites. Karen Cooper just bites her mom, and there's no die roll need. I kind of missed that when I read over the rules. So she's bitten, and again, if this was a real zombie movie, she would be, you know, now her clock would be ticking. But in this game, it doesn't seem to matter. You just have 3 hit points essentially. Ryan says, "How do you feel about Return of the Living Dead films?" I like the first one a lot. The others, I only saw two and I saw two and three. I thought two was pretty terrible, but kind of fun just to have on anyway. Three was not great. It was kind of ridiculous how they tried to make the main character the grunge guy named Kurt. I don't know. And they tried to have this kind of S&M motif going on. And I saw a later one, probably in like 2005-ish, called I think it was called Rave to the Grave. I didn't like that one very much. It's probably some of them I haven't seen, but I like the first one a lot. It's a fun romp, and it's definitely got a good mix of horror and comedy. Okay, I saw it when I had COVID a month and a half ago. That was one of the movies I decided to watch while in bed. Return of the Living Dead because I hadn't seen it for a while. Anyway, yeah, Karen bit Helen, and that's her turn though. But now we have to do the spawning again, so I think I might have messed something up last turn. I think I was supposed to draw a card for this spawn point too, and I forgot to. So let me check on that. So it's okay if you cheat a little if it's accidentally on the first time you're playing. It's accidental. Um, Let me just make sure I'm doing this right. So yeah, you do the white. It says to do the white one, the white ghoul spawn token. Then when do you do the red one? I think that's the part I didn't follow. So bear with me a moment again. Okay, it says repeat this for each spawn zone, one after the other. You could argue I should draw one now to make up for last turn, or I'm just gonna cheat and roll with it because I'm a noob, so I need all the help I can get probably. All right, so yeah, so now though I'm gonna do it right, and so for the white zombie area we have breakers. Uh-oh. So these are zombies who specifically are wielding objects to smash through barriers. And in the movie, there's not like there's designated types as far as we can tell, but it works for the game. You have walkers and breakers in the game. So because we're all still at the blue level, we only draw one breaker. So let me find one of those. Here's the zombie tray. Which one's a breaker? I guess this guy's a breaker. Here he is. So he's right here, and he's going to smash through the window or open the door or something. I have to figure out how he works. But we have to do the other spawn point here, which is Fatty. Fatty! I was joking to Arturo, who I don't know if he's here, but when I was playing the zombie computer game called Oregon Trail, not Oregon Trail, but Oregon, as in, your heart is an organ, your intestines are another organ. I was playing that game, and I had this character I would always, every time I play it, I would call one of the characters Fatty Fat for just no apparent reason. And I don't know, somehow in the moment it was really funny. The jokes we were cracking with all the ridiculous names I named people. But anyway, now it's kind of funny that we're playing a different zombie game, but there's a zombie that's a fatty. But they're basically just the brutish zombies. They're bigger, they take 2 hits, and they deal 2 hits. And they also act as a tank for other zombies. If you shoot a ranged weapon, um, if you only do 1 damage, the fatty eats it instead of other people and other zombies in the zone. So yeah, we actually have some dangerous stuff happening now. Okay. I'm concerned. But at least they don't get to attack now because the activation is the first step and spawning is the second step. So I think I have that right. Yeah, so we have to worry about them next turn essentially. But yeah, we're gonna have to actually do some fighting in a moment. Not familiar with Undead 2003, Ryan. Ryan said that's a good film. Table leg shouldn't be sitting there. Okay, next turn. So, what the hell to do? Karen should not be fighting these two guys all by herself, that's for sure. Why don't I check how the breakers work? Because we have to be concerned about that soon. I mean, because I have the door here, I think they can just open it, but the breaker might decide to smash the barrier in the window anyway. Do 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 do. Breakers who didn't attack survivor. So basically, if there's a guy, a hero or a survivor in the same zone as him, he'll use his action to attack. But if he doesn't attack because there's nobody there, what he will do is he'll spend his action attacking any closed barricades and closed doors in the zone. Open all doors, all of them. Open all doors and barricades in their zone. Single breaker may open several doors and barricades. Oh wow, they're effective. Holy crap. So, yeah, he's going to smash open the barricade on the window and open the door. That's actually, wow, I thought he was only going to do one. So that's kind of why I was looking it up. So, yeah, breakers are nasty. Ryan says you need to do a stream of you painting your figures. I don't know. I kind of gave up painting miniatures. I have enough hobbies and not enough time. And I was never really good at the mini painting. Maybe in retirement. Although you could do very simple styles of painting. Like one style is called a wash, where you just take kind of like some diluted ink and you like just brush it very liberally over the miniature, and then it gets like this nice shaded texture because the ink goes into cracks. So that might might look pretty good for this game. It would give like a depth to each figure. And it's it's easy to do because you're just slathering on a bunch of ink essentially. They call it a wash. But yeah, it makes them look pretty good too. And one thing you can do is just do a wash like that and then just paint a little bit of highlights in the raised areas. Sorry, I'm being distracted by some sirens I'm hearing outside. Hopefully there's no zombie apocalypse happening. In any case, Helen Cooper is dealing with too much up here. So she got Karen to deal with, and the breaker who's about to smash the door and window. And something that just occurred to me is, if somebody's brave enough, they could actually go outside and go toe to toe with the breaker, and that would allow that person to bear the brunt of his attack, but spare the barricades, and so it might be effective. Or somebody with a gun, which isn't really happening quite yet, could shoot from the window, I think. Anyway, what am I doing though? Somebody's gonna get this gun this turn at least, so that's good. And now I feel like I have to think things through a little bit more than I was. It would be nice to kill Karen so we can go zombicide. Oh, oh shoot! I forgot to give people experience points for all the barricades they were putting. You're supposed to get 5 when you do that. So how many did I put down? I'll try to. I don't remember who did what, but there's 2 here, 1 here. Was it just 3 I put down? Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so who put them down? I'll just wing it. I can say Helen and Tom put them down here, maybe. If that's the case, then Helen is at 5 experience. And Tom is also at 5. Maybe Barbara did, I don't know. I'm just winging it because I don't remember. And this one was placed by, I think it was Ben or Harry. I think it was Ben. So Ben has 5 experience, but nobody's leveled up yet. You can see we're still in the blue at 5. And Ryan says Winchester 94 looks like a great gun. Is that the same one that Ben found in the movie? I would assume so. I assume it's supposed to be. I don't know enough about guns to comment, but I would think I don't think that. I don't know why they would deviate from that. So it must be that one. In any case, yeah, we gotta deal with these guys and that guy. Thing is, I think only the breakers can remove the barriers. Do I have that right? It might be the regular zombies can It might be they can do it, but they're less efficient. Like they can only take down one barrier at a turn or something. Let me look into that. I think it's only the breakers who can do it. Okay. So, which makes me have to decide now. Do I care about this guy very much? Maybe I don't care about him a hell of a. Oh, but according to the rules, he will just start to go in other places, like here, and then he can go through the window. So he tries to take the shortest path to someone, which would be, I think, here, unless I barricade the window. I figured that 94 meant 1894, since the movie was made in 1968. It certainly couldn't have been 1994. And 1794 would probably mean like they're using a musket or something. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Gotta figure out what I'm doing. Okay. So, we definitely want to kill Karen and the breaker, or at least put someone in the melee with the breaker. Of course, if I put someone in this zone with the breaker, then somebody else is going to spawn here, and that's two zombies to deal with, which is not great. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to spend like way too long analyzing, so I have to kind of just go on instinct to some degree. There's a lot of. I have 6 pieces to move around, and I'll probably be thinking too hard if I think too hard. And Ryan said, I just thought that 1894 is about as close to Night of the Living Dead as Night of the Living Dead to us. Yeah, ish. Because it it would have been 70 something. Yeah, I think 74 years between 1894 and 1968, but we're only 54 years from 1968. So not quite, but I get your point, yeah. Any case, let's see. Let me try to. No offense to you, Ryan. It's totally cool the chatting you're doing. I appreciate it. Otherwise, we would have no interaction here for one thing. But I got to figure out what the heck I'm doing in the board game. Um, okay, so Harry Cooper has 2 boards, so maybe he should be doing more boarding. He could be doing some waterboarding. He could put 1 board right here. Then he can move here as a second move and board right here, so the windows would be nice and boarded. And he'll level up so much, though, he's gonna. Actually, maybe that's a bad idea. What's gonna happen is he will gain 10 experience in being the yellow, and then all the zombies are gonna be stronger because those cards. Well, I don't know. It looks like with the 2 that I've drawn so far, the yellow isn't that much worse. It's the same, actually. I guess the relatives is the exception. It would have been something. Anyway, let's just do it. Okay, so Harry's gonna board, move, and board. So Harry is a master at boarding, whereas in the movie he was just complaining, and Helen Cooper was like, "Why don't you just, actually do something to help?" In the movie, he's like, "Look at this. There's a million weaknesses. You think this is going to hold off those things?" All right, level up for Harry. That means he now has the taunt ability. Let's see what the taunt ability does. Taunt. The survivor can use this skill for free once during each of their turns. Select a zone up to 2 zones away from the survivor and having a clear path to the survivor. No walls, closed barricades, or closed doors. No line of sight is needed. All ghouls standing in the selected zone immediately gain an extra activation. They try to reach the taunting survivor by any means available. Taunted ghouls ignore all other survivors. They do not attack them and leave the zone they are standing in if needed to reach the taunting survivor. Interesting. So I can Make him, hey, come over here, you mothers. Harry Cooper was right and Rose was right. Says, oh man, was Harry Cooper right? You could argue. Here's a thought I had. So the whole argument that Harry Cooper and Ben had, for those who don't know, was whether they should just hole up in the cellar or and barricade the door, which was strong, or stay up here. And the argument was basically, at least here you have a fighting chance. You could backtrack to the cellar, or you can run outside if you need to. And the cellar argument was just that it's sturdy in there, and also that the daughter wouldn't be able to handle all the banging, the zombie action, those things banging everywhere. And in the end, again, I think it's okay to spoil a half-century old movie. In the end, what happened is Ben is the only one alive, and he actually holds up in the cellar and makes it overnight to when the cavalry come, basically. So the argument is basically, well, maybe Harry Cooper was right, and they should have just done that. Counter argument: Helen Cooper was in the basement, would have turned into a zombie, and then what? Do you think Ben and Helen would? Do you think Harry and Helen would have been okay with Ben saying, "We got to shoot her"? They would have been, they would have been shooting at each other. And Ryan said, "I was thinking if they were down there, would the zombies attack the cellar door more if they weren't up there?" I don't know. I feel like in the end of the movie, they all know Ben went in the cellar, so they're pounding on the door for hours, presumably. And they aren't able to get in ever. And I think that if they were all just down there to begin with, they wouldn't have had that focus on the door. So again, they wouldn't have even like. I feel like they wouldn't have even bothered. Basically, maybe they would have, you know, like kind of in a half-assed manner, just kind of banged on it a bit and then moved on. So yeah, I don't know. Probably Harry was right, but they would have had to deal with the Karen situation. But there was also the idea that they didn't know. I don't think you have to think about operating with what the situation they were in. They wanted to have the TV and the radio, and while they didn't say it explicitly, sometimes you get terrible signal in the basement. So I wonder if that would have been a thing. They wouldn't have known, wouldn't have been able to keep up to date with what's going on. And here's another thing: what if the cavalry comes and they don't bother to check the cellar? Maybe that's the thing that would have happened. They just wouldn't have even. They would have just kind of poked their head in the house and said, "Eh, no one's here." And then what were they going to do? Sitting there for weeks and weeks and weeks, or how long would it have been? It's fun to think about the scenario this movie brings up. In any case, what the hell am I doing? Harry did his thing. He leveled up to yellow, which means now the zombie cards are going to be drawn with the yellow case. And we do have to deal with these zombies here that I'm very concerned about. I think we should have Ben get the gun and hold off on handing it to anybody until Karen is killed. But who has the bullets? Oh, Ben already has the bullets. So yeah, now it's a no-brainer that he gets the gun. He's already got the bullets that you need for it. So that's a no-brainer. Okay, so we're going to make Ben go next, and he's going to pick up the gun. That's going to be one action. I'm trying to think if that means if I have to spend another action to deal with the table leg. Like I think I can just probably drop it there. Like put it on the ground in one action with. But if I want to stick it in the backpack, I think that's a separate action. So I don't know. I kind of want him to shoot Karen. I think he can do that. So what he could do is pick up the gun. That's one move. Step here, two moves, and then shoot three moves. And you can shoot from an adjacent room, so it shouldn't be a problem. Actually, with the Winchester, it tells you how many zones away. You have to be 1 to 3. So notice you can't use it in the same zone. It's supposed to be you're too close, you're on top of each other, you can't target someone in the same zone. So yeah, you could actually go here and shoot Karen. And the way line of sight works is when you're inside the house, as long as you can see through a door to the other room, then it's considered to be in the line of sight. It doesn't matter that I decided randomly to put Karen over here. It's assumed that he can shoot her. There is a rule about friendly fire, though. You can apparently miss. So maybe I should be concerned about that. And Ryan said it doesn't come up in the movies, but they'd have to pee and poop somewhere down there. I mean, sure. I think usually you can assume that people figured that out in movies. I was actually thinking about that a little bit. I was watching a movie last night um, on Pluto TV. I've been watching random bad horror movies, and most of them are horrible. I watched part of The Howling 2 2 nights ago. I think it was 2 nights ago, and it was so bad. It was embarrassing. But Christopher Lee was in it, and he's always awesome. But then last night I was like, all right, that 10 Cloverfield Lane is on. I haven't seen any of these Cloverfield movies. I'm just gonna put it on. Why not? I expected crap. First of all, it seems to have nothing to do with the original Cloverfield, I think. And secondly, it was actually really good. 10 Cloverfield, and it was a scenario where people are sheltered in this bunker kind of a thing. And I was actually thinking a little bit about the peeing and pooping, but they might have had a bathroom. I don't remember. But I don't know if you've heard of that. Basically, I don't want to get too into it, but basically, a young woman played by an actress whose name I can't remember um, is in a car accident and wakes up in a bunker with a character played by John Goodman and a younger guy as well. And he's telling them all that, well, you don't remember, but there's like aliens invading or something like that. And okay, you know the movie. All right, I don't have to explain it all. And then if you go out there, the air is all contaminated or something like that. And I really enjoyed that movie. There was a couple of moments that was a little, but overall, definitely a pleasant surprise. Because on Pluto TV, I've been seeing all kinds of garbage, but I was impressed with 10 Cloverfield Lane. But yeah, I was thinking again, they're in this shelter. They had board games though, so that's good. They didn't have this game though. They had like Monopoly and things like that. And I liked how they kept you guessing the whole time. Like she's thinking, is this guy just a, you know, I'm gonna try to keep my selection of words pretty good, pretty careful because the 3-year-old movie you don't want to spoil. But yeah, it's the whole uncertainty about whether the claimed scenario is really happening or not. Like, is Goodman's character just a creepy kidnapper, or is there is it legit at all? That's the thing I liked. The movie kept you guessing as well. Anyway, yeah. So now I see there's one viewer, so I guess it's just you, Ryan. I'm rambling too much. Okay, let's keep it going. Yeah, let's check out the friendly fire rules. I think if I miss, I just hit Helen accidentally. But ain't it a crime? I just saw the movie Dawn of the Dead. Peter said something like the only person who could miss with this gun is the sucker with the bread to buy it. I love that line. But yeah, I think if I miss, I would hit Helen as friendly fire, and I need a 3+ to hit. So there's a 1/3 chance I could miss and shoot her, I think is how it works. Um, of course, I can move Helen out of the way first. There's a lot to consider in this game. It's amazing. Or is it both? Yeah, right, right. Is it both? Is he a creepy kidnapper and the real alien thing is happening? Um, oh, my mind is all over the place. Sorry. Okay, so what am I gonna do with Helen? That's what I should think about. If there's no reason for her to remain in here, then there's no reason for me to make Ben shoot while she's in the room. By the way, there is a rule that if you have a survivor in the room with a ghoul, then it costs 2 move to get out of the room because I guess it's assumed there's some the zombie grabbing you or there's some rough house that you have to deal with. You can't just walk away. So I would have to spend 2 of her actions on the move. In other words, um, again, I kind of at a loss of what to do with everyone, but I think it does seem to make sense that I should move her out of the way for Ben to shoot Karen. I actually had another idea. I don't have enough actions to do it, but I could, if I did have enough action, I could put Ben in here, and he could beat her with a table leg, and then shoot this breaker because he has line of sight through the window. I guess the window would just be broken, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, all I can do is pick up the gun. That's one action. Two, I think I could actually shoot him, but it's because I could shoot 1 to 2 away. Maybe I should just do that. Huh, interesting. So new plan. Helen is going to try to bludgeon her. Bludgeon Karen I gotta roll a 50-50 chance in one of these actions with one of these actions, right? So she'll try twice. Maybe if I fail twice, I'll decide what I'll do with the third action. But my plan is hopefully with two actions I can kill her, then move her out of the way, and then Ben can go one, pick up, two, stand here, shoot the breaker with his gun, and Ben might be able to take him out before he can do any serious damage. So I think that's a good plan. Let's do that. So let's start it off. Helen bashing Karen again. So 4, 5, or 6 will do it. You can do it, Helen. Come on, come on. And unfortunately, I rolled a 2 for the first attempt. She just can't do it. She can't kill her kid. Maybe it's a psychological thing. Second attempt. Come on, 4, 5, or 6, Helen. Oh my God, she can't do it. So now I'm faced with a choice. Do I want to just step her out of the room, or I could go for one more try? Then the problem is she's subject to Ben's friendly fire. uh, I mean, it's amazing to fail 50-50 chances this often. That's why you have to make up a story that she just can't do it. All right, I'm gonna make her attack again. Come on, Helen, just do it. Ah, 3. How do you fail 4 50-50 chances? Christ. All right, so Helen didn't do it. And now the question is, do I want to, I mean, I could have someone else run over and try to take care of Karen and still maintain my plan with Ben. So Barbara's over here. She could run over, go 1, 2, and what does she have? She has a tire iron, which is about as effective as the table. 4, 5, or 6 hits, which is that 4 plus right there. And Ryan said if I had to pick a favorite character, it would be Ken Foree's Peter. Okay, yeah, he's great. He's a great leader. I like his character a lot. But one character from all the movies, maybe I might choose him too. Depends what you mean by favorite. Like, yeah, I guess I would. I think either him or Ben. They were both good leaders and they were both well acted. Um, you could argue that Peter's plans were perhaps more solid. I don't know. If you going back to the whole Ben versus Harry argument, and maybe Ben was wrong, kind of a thing. Yeah, maybe I'll go with Peter as well. But I just saw the movie today, so it's fresh in my mind. He was a great leader. He was reasonable. He was quick thinking. He got a lot. He has charisma. Um, he's stern when he needs to be, like telling Roger he's got, hey trooper, you got to get your head straight, kind of a thing. He listens to Fran when she feels like she's being left out of the planning and not being, included in the group and doesn't want to be den mother. He's the one who says fair enough. He plans all the tactics well. Uh, Basically, he does everything great. uh, he fights well. Another example of him being stern is when he tells Flyboy, never point a loaded gun at anyone, mister. Yeah, he's physically imposing too. I looked up the actor's height. Ken Foree is 6'5", so he's a little taller than me even. And I think I looked up the Roger actor too. I forget how tall he is, but I think he's like 5'8" or something. So when you see the two of them next to each other, it's like such a striking difference. And even in the beginning with the project scene, you see Roger trying to stop Wooly from shooting random people, and Roger like leaps onto Wooly, and he looks like a child compared to Wooly. Yeah, Ken Foree does act that part perfectly. He did a great job. Yeah, it's a great movie. All right, so um, and this is not telling you to stop anything, Ryan, because I do love the banter, but I keep going. Oh yeah, what the hell am I doing here? Um, but yeah, I think Barbara could take it. Oh, she doesn't have to go 1, 2. She can go right this way. So she could go 1 and then try to do 2 attacks on Karen, who's apparently invincible. Yeah, Wooly's gone ape shit. You was in Wooly's unit, weren't you? I didn't see nothing. I didn't see how he died. Okay, so Barbara's gonna try to take out Karen because Helen just can't do it. Maybe she's just kind of like fending her off gently, but she can't bring herself to crushing her former daughter's skull. So So Barbara's going to rush in with her first action and try to tire iron poor Karen to death. So Barbara needs a 4, 5, or 6. And she does it in one shot. I imagine how, like, if you remember in the movie, Ben is tire ironing some of those, you know, zombies, like the one played by John Russo who sneaks in. And he just kind of. So that's what Barbara just did now to poor Karen Cooper. So you can imagine that Helen is hysterical, but actually everybody is calmer now, and we can go into zombicide mode now. But Barbara has one more move, and I don't know what it's gonna be. She doesn't have wood. I'm thinking of keeping her in the room just because I think the way I read it, when I read in the rules, if there is friendly fire, I think I can choose who takes it. So I could make Barbara take it just because Helen's already been injured. I guess I think that's how it works. Let me check it out in the rules real quick. Like you can block the bullet. Is I think how it would work. 28. Alright, so friendly fire. A survivor can't hit themselves with their own attacks. However, emergency situations can call for ranged actions or car attacks aimed at a zone where a teammate is stuck. In that case, oh, okay. All it's saying is that if you're in the same zone, you could have friendly fire. But you can shoot through a zone. I think that's what it's saying. So let's go with that. And Ben's going to go now because of that. And he's going to pick up. Actually, he has to issue a search action. Not that it makes a difference. Well, that means he can't search again this turn, though. So he spends a search trying to pick up the Winchester. And I think he doesn't have to spend another action to just drop the table leg that he was holding. And so we'll do that as one action, 2, and then he's going to fire. Now line of sight, he can have line of sight straight through here, I think. So he's going to do that. All right, so yeah, let's roll. He has to fire the Winchester, and again, as you can see, he needs a 3 or higher. I should actually read this text probably. Oh, basically, with the exception of this scene, I don't know why, whoever is randomly dealt the table leg starts with this one. In this scene, it's in this room and you have to search for it. So that's what I did. But also you can discard along with a scope. The survivor receives a scoped Winchester. So you can get a scope to probably make you hit on like a 2 or higher or something like that. Anyway, the Winchester is being fired at this breaker through the window. Let's see if we can get him. That would be a great shot, I think, and it would be very helpful to take out that breaker. But let's see what happens. A 4, that'll do it. He's done. And also, people are supposed to get experience for each zombie they kill. So Ben is at 6 experience, which puts him on the last notch of blue. But Barbara also gets 1 experience for killing Karen Cooper. And that means we moved Helen, Barbara, and Ben. And we didn't move anybody else, I don't think. Did I move Harry? I think I made Harry board, or was that last turn? I think I did Harry this turn. Yeah, I did. So that just leaves Helen and... No, not Helen. It leaves Judy and Tom. Okay. Tom and Judy. Tom and Judy. So Tom has his newfound flashlight, which helps him find things fast. So that's good. I think I could have him exchange items with Ben right now, and then Ben would become Zombicide mode. He would transform into Super Ben. So that's an option. That's a great option, I think. Just keep passing the Winchester around to turn people into super mode. But what's Judy up there gonna do? She can search if she becomes zombicided, but she's not right now. So maybe Ben could become zombicided and then run up there and search for what was up there. Yeah, ranged weapons. He can find great ranged weapons up there. So that's a good plan, I think. So yeah. So And Brian says, I have to admit, I like Land of the Dead a lot. Diary and Survival awful. I like Land too, but I don't find myself wanting to come back to it again and again. I liked it in the theater. It doesn't really excite me as much as the originals though, but it's good. It has some good ideas. And I bought the DVD after and watched it a few times after I saw it in the theaters. But Diary was pretty terrible, except for the scene with the Amish guy. The Amish guy was hilarious. Uh, I liked. I don't know. It was fun anyway. It's nothing I want to ever watch again though. And George Romero was there answering questions. How could I boo it in front of him, right? It was at a theater in the city, New York City, and yeah, he was there the whole time. I don't know where he was. I didn't see him in the seat, but possibly just showed up for the Q&A actually and wasn't there for the actual showing of the movie. Twilight of the Dead is what you think they should have called it. Yeah, that was an idea I had that they were going to call it. Maybe somebody else said that, or it was a tentative name perhaps. Twilight of the Dead. I like to joke that when I saw Dawn of the Dead this afternoon, it was the early afternoon of the Dead because I saw it at 12:30. uh, shoot, what the heck am I doing? Same problem again. Yeah, Tom is gonna use his flashlight to spend one search action. His flashlight lets him draw two cards when searching, so that's good. I think it's good. So we got boards. That's great. We need more boards. Discard, gain 3 XP. Maybe use in the backpack. Okay, so apparently with these boards you only gain 3 XP. I don't know. Fine. That's good. He just has to drop something probably. Or oh no, another relative. I guess it's Johnny now. That ruins my plans though, because I wanted to have Ben hand Tom the weapon, and therefore Ben would get Zombicide mode. But as long as there is a relative, you can't get Zombicide mode. So, all right, I guess Johnny shows up now somehow in this room, and Tom has boards though. He can put the boards in his backpack. They can be used in his backpack. So this is what Tom has, just as a reminder. He has the table leg, a flashlight, and now he has boards in his backpack. Nobody actually has backpacks in the movie, but it's just an excuse to let people carry more things. Okay, so Johnny showed up suddenly. Here's Johnny. This is what the Johnny miniature looks like. And again, if I did give give the miniatures like an ink wash, you could probably see some more texture better and they would look nicer. Um, but yeah, he's right here. Hello, guys. Somehow he's right there. I mean, there's a lot of people who can take him out right now, though, so that's good. Or not actually not right now, but Tom can fight him right now. Harry and Ben already did their turns. Um, so yeah, since I want to do the Zombicide mode, I'll have to take out Johnny right away. So what does yeah? Tom has a table leg, so it's the same thing. 4, 5, or 6 will kill Johnny. So Barbara's like Johnny, oh no, Johnny, and meanwhile Tom's gonna be like clunk clunk. People need to go back to wearing driving gloves, like Johnny says, right? What is the point of driving gloves? Is it just a stylistic thing, or is it supposed to keep the steering wheel from like chafing your finger or something? Because I never had that problem, but it's possible with older cars it was an issue. I don't know. Or maybe for long car trips, maybe you get sweaty and it's more likely to chafe you. I don't know. I never had that problem with long car trips, even though I don't do a ton of them. Anyway, yeah. So Tom's gonna beat Johnny with the table leg. 4, 5, or 6 will hit. He has 2 action left, so I could do this twice probably. Let me just think. Was there anything else I wanted to do that might be more valuable? He does have the boards. He could board right here. I think taking out Johnny is a priority though, so let's do that. Sorry, Johnny. And he kills Johnny in 1 hit. Aww. Alright, so no more relatives. That was interesting that the way we found Johnny and Karen. Where did Johnny come from? I guess he came through this window. I don't know. The window. Tom was like, Johnny came right through the window. So I beat him to death with a table leg. And Ryan says, I thought it was chafing too, but I always thought I never chafed even on an 8 hour drive. Yeah, me too. Again, I don't do a ton of them, but a ton of long drives. But when I do, I don't remember having any finger issues. It's more like my whole body is like, I need to stretch, or my butt and my lower back and stuff, but never my fingers. But again, it could be maybe, how things in general get more, like think of video game controllers, they get much more ergonomic over time, and the early ones are terrible. I wonder if it was the same thing with steering wheels, probably. Uh, I've never driven a car, older than 1980, from older than 1983, so I don't really know what it's like to drive like a Pontiac from the 60s. Or maybe it's like if you do drive long hours like every day like a truck driver or something, maybe it really could get to your fingers. But I don't know. Okay, so yeah, Johnny's done, and Tom gets an XP for that, so he's at 6, and he has one more action, which might as well be what I was planning, right? To have Ben exchange items with him. Yeah, let's do it. Then Ben becomes Super Ben. So let's see, how did this work? So then Ben can search for the cool range weapons up here or the cool melee weapons over here. What is this little area? I know you can probably see it worse than I can, but it looks like it's a little it's almost like a deck or something. I guess it's a deck. Huh. Okay, so yeah, one more move. Let's do the exchange. Ben's gonna pass the Winchester and bullets to Tom, and I guess Ben gets the table leg and flashlight, or I could pass the boards as well. Um, I don't know who should have the boards really though. Does it make a difference much? I don't know. Let's just Tom can hold on to the boards, but I don't think Ben gets the better end of this deal, but he's being generous and he gets to power up now. Power up. So because of that, and this is specific to this scene, by the way. Oh, it's deck in the remake. Okay, maybe that's where they got the idea. But yeah, specific to this scene, in other words, the scenario, giving the gun turns him into zombicide mode. It's not the case for all of the scenes, but now he is zombicide mode Ben, which basically means he's supposed to be more action hero-y or something. So even though he's in the blue level, which is the low level still, he has Hawkeye ability now. So we have to look up what Hawkeye means, but we actually have a separate miniature now for Ben that we can swap to, where he's more of a badass or something. So let me find that. Yeah, this must be him. So now he is zombicide mode Ben, even though he doesn't actually have the gun anymore. Doesn't have any gun. That's okay though. He's more badass with his table leg. I like how table legs come up so much. Just because Ben used one as a torch in the movie. Alright. So we have badass Ben. He has Hawkeye. Let's see what Hawkeye does. I guess he probably shoots better. Seems like that would be a reasonable assumption to make. Hawkeye. Survivors' lines of sight go at range 1 through closed barricades and cornfields. So I can shoot. It may allow them to perform range action through such objects. Okay, so I'm not quite sure why they have the hesitation there, almost like it may let them do that. But basically some things that would block my line of sight normally would not. Barricades and cornfield. I guess, okay, range 1, it means, I guess it's saying that, say I'm trying to shoot through this barricade, I can do so, but the limit is range 1. So I can't, even though the gun has, even though like the Winchester, for example, has a range of 3, if I were trying to use that Hawkeye ability with it, it would still be limited to 1. Okay, so now Ben is Super Ben. Super Ben, wow, if once he gets yellow level, he actually gets an extra action per turn, which is great. Let's see? Wow. But I really want to make him search. I guess since he's right next to the deck, he could search for melee weapons there. That might be a good thing to do. But I think I moved everybody now. Oh, no, I didn't move Judy because I don't know what the heck to do with her. She's useless like in the movie. She does have a claw hammer, which is good for taking down barriers. uh, I guess I can just make her search. That's one action though. What are the other two going to be? Um, she had a claw hammer in one hand, nothing in the other. You know, I just realized I don't know what these things at the top right are for. There's all these pegs in the top right. There's six of them. I have no idea what they're for. I should check on that. I'm missing something, obviously. I remember in the setup it told me to put them there. Huh. Those are trackers in reserve. Oh, there's a special ultra red mode, which I skipped because I think it said it was optional. Ultra red mode. I don't know what that means. Yeah, it's an optional mode. It lets you gain experience beyond the red danger level. So the red level lets you become a superhero or something. So yeah, we don't need those basically. Okay, so Judy, I guess she might as well spend one action searching. Then what am I gonna do with the other two is the question. I don't know. Yeah, so she can search here, I think, upstairs, but she just can't do the search for ranged weapons. She gets the usual house search. So let's do that. She's gonna search. She finds boards. Cool. So Judy has some boards in her hands. She can probably put some down somewhere. Let's see. Um, I guess not, because she would have to spend her second action moving here, and there's no windows to board up here. She'd have to take one more move, and then she could put some boards down. So, yeah, why don't we might as well start getting her there, though, right? So that's first action, second action, third action. Okay, so next turn she can put some boards down. That's good. And that's it for us humans. Back to the ghouls. Table leg would actually be a pretty good weapon, basically a bat. Yeah, I think so. It would probably be pretty good. And the way this leg is built, it's like it's got a heavy end. Probably pretty good. Okay. Um, zombie time. So first of all, zombies who are actually existing are activated, and I have to remember what his logic would be like. He would try to go to the nearest person, which I guess means he'd step here. This door is still. I do have to remember that I might need to be boarding up doors as well. But he's going to be walking here, and next turn he's going to try to open the door, most likely. But that's all he can do this turn. And now this one will spawn. So what happens there? We have relatives again. Okay, I thought there could only be two, but I guess there can be more. Yeah, I guess there's some in this deck as well as in this deck, and so I drew two from this deck and two from this one. But last time I drew from this one, we were in the blue. This time, unfortunately, oh man, that means Ben goes back to Romero mode. I thought I had planned that well, but yeah, because somebody's in the yellow, Harry Cooper's in the yellow, then we do find a relative. It's here's Johnny again. I don't know. Johnny's back. That's not Johnny. Could be Karen Cooper from the outside. I guess we can just assume it's somebody else. That's not in the movie. It's maybe Barbara's. No, we'll go with a different character. It's Judy's aunt. It's Judy's aunt. Maybe it's Johnny's grandfather. Barbara's Johnny's grandfather who said, "Boy, you'll be damned to hell." Let's go with that. I mean, presumably he's dead if their father is no longer around, right? But let's go with that. Well, I guess it depends if he's recently dead or not, right? It's the recently deceased become zombies in this movie. In some other movies, it's just like old corpses from centuries ago can be reanimated. Anyway, we're gonna go with that. It's Johnny's and Barbara's grandfather, and he's like screaming, "Boy, you'll be damned to hell!" And now we draw the ghoul for this spawn point, and it's more fatties. Oh no, it's three of them. Look at that, Three fatties. We use the yellow one. Even if we were on blue, it would still be three. So this is a nasty card. Three fatties. Okay, let me find three fatties in my miniature tray here. One fatty. Where are all the fat? I guess they're in the other tray. Here we go. Two fatties, three fatties. Fatty, fat. This is getting scary. Oh my god. I don't like the looks of this. I need an area of effect thing if that even exists. Like a Molotov cocktail maybe would take out the whole area. Wow, I'm scared now. Now Ben is unfortunately back to Romero mode because of Johnny's grandfather. So, back over to the regular side. Okay. Well, that sucks. And now we have 5 zombies on the board. And this door they can just open up. Start pouring in. Okay, so that means we need barriers and fast. Okay, I was just thinking from this line here means there's a solid wall between this deck and this space. I don't even know if this is a deck, it's some other room. See, it's the same kind of wall as the outside, so it must mean that they can't walk through here. Okay. So who can board up can you board up the doors just like anything else, I guess? I guess probably. Let me just check that. I'm just used to the windows, but it's probably the same. You can barricade and that's the wrong thing. Barricade action. The survivor performs one of these actions with a barricade in their zone, and only if there are no ghouls in the zone. Hope I didn't cheat with that accidentally. I don't think I did. Building a barricade, opening a barricade, or closing a barricade. So you can actually flip them to open them up. Okay, so I can build one where though? I guess I think on any door probably, right? It doesn't even say in that section for some reason. Okay, I am pretty sure you can board the doors, right? Why would you not be able to? Okay, so I'm going to go with that and look deeper into the rules another time. But yeah, I'm going to assume you're able to board the door. That seems reasonable. And in which case, I'm going to have somebody board that up ASAP. I mean, the movie they boarded the doors too, right? Okay, so yeah, who can get a board over there ASAP? Who has boards? So Tom has a board, and Ryan says with Romero Zombie they prefer a machete or bat. They never run out of ammo. One thing is always a thing that in movies, melee weapons are you just kill somebody and it cleanly comes out of them. I think in real life you'd have a lot of trouble with a machete, like getting stuck in people. And baseball bats, if you ever watch baseball, you know that the wooden bats break pretty easily. Against baseballs, imagine if you're trying to kill people with aluminum bats would probably hold up pretty well. Anyway, um, I was just thinking about I was at my local Long Island Ducks baseball game, and a broken bat. Actually, I can't remember if it broke or it just slipped out of the batter's hands. It flew into the stands and hit some old lady in the face, and she was all bloody. And then some paramedics took her away. Apparently, she's there every day. She's like a Ducks fan. That's why military knives have blood grooves. That's right. That's right. I've heard of that. Let's air into the wound so you can take it out either. Cool. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, not cool, but good to know. But yeah, a random machete might not be good at that. Say goodbye, creep. But yeah, who has boards? So Tom has boards, so he could board up this door. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? He's got the boards. Also, Judy has boards, but she's over here. Okay, why don't we get Tom done first then? So actually, I'm starting to think of something interesting in this game. I could open the door and try to take them out. But if I just board it up, I don't have to deal with them. However, what that means is if a breaker comes along later, I might have a large pile up of zombies that are all just they all just start pouring in. So what I could do is open the door and Ben could shoot that one. Then we close it and board it. I don't know if you have to close it before boarding it because I couldn't even find anything about barricading the doors. I don't know. This is weird. Build a barricade. If the scene allows it, see the scene's special rule. Does that mean the barricading rules are dependent solely on the scene? I don't know. Let me check that again. Checking the scene rules. I mean, it only talks about barricading windows in the scene rules. I would think you could barricade the doors too, though. I don't know. I guess I have to make a call. I'll say you could probably barricade the doors. I think it makes sense. Have you seen 28 Days Later? Yeah, I have. It's been a long time, though. It's pretty good. I have not seen 28 Weeks Later, though. Um, okay, so let's just say I can board the doors. Because I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. But so Tom will do that, or do I want to go with my plan of shooting first? By the way, Ben is not Zombicide anymore, so it's old Ben. Let's just go with boarding, and then what else can we do? We have to deal with Johnny. Judy could run in. I feel bad that it's not clearly talking about barricading board. I feel like I might be missing something. Gotta be something else mentioned about barricades. Let's check the index. Barricade on only 19. Okay, only page 19. Maybe I should look at these examples. This one says, Tom is in danger. Helen goes to his rescue. Her tire iron can open barricade. Okay, she's opening a barricade. You can see Tom is outside in this picture. So she's using her tire iron to open a barricade. That's not really what I care about right now, though. What's going on here? Helen managed to kill both walkers. Okay, then she can move inside and then flip the barricade back on, essentially. Ryan said they'd rather it be separate modes, but I do like how you switch out the figures on the bases. They actually give you a pair of the bases. I could actually have both figures ready and just swap them out without worrying about the bases. They give you a pair for each color. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, let me plan this. It just keeps bothering me that it won't. Let me check this board score. All right, let's just go with it. Tom is boarding as his first action. And he gains 3 experience for that, and now he has leveled up to yellow. So we discard this. It says he gains 3 XP. And now his yellow bonus is a new ability. It's called Shove. So Tom can now shove ghouls. I'm assuming it's shoving ghouls and not people. Let's check what Shove does. Shove. The survivor can use this skill for free once during each of their turns. Select a zone at range 1 from your survivor. Both zones need to share a clear path. All ghouls standing in your survivor zone are pushed to the selected zone. This is not moving. Oh, that's pretty cool. Basically, he doesn't even have to spend an action, and he can shove a ghoul over to another zone next to him. So if this guy were here, imagine this door was open, you could just go, nope, free action. You're back here again. And these guys only move once a turn, so that's actually really cool. But yeah, I decided he boarded that up, even though I'm not sure that's how it works. Let me find another barricade piece. I guess let's put it in place of the door, or on top of the door. Let's go with on top of the door. All right. So yeah, I think basically they're not going to be seeing action anytime soon unless a breaker comes along and ruins my party here. But yeah, Tom has two more moves. He has the gun. He should be shooting Johnny. Johnny's grandpa. He'll be damned to hell. So he can do the same thing that Ben basically did. Shoot from two spaces over, two zones over, and try to take him out. So he has two shots because he has two more actions to roll a 3 or higher. So I think that's a great plan. And then we can try to get into Zombicide mode again now that we've killed a relative again. So let's do that. So he needs 3 or higher for his first shot, and he gets them. Ah, damn you to hell! So Tom gets an XP. Doesn't level up. He gets an XP for that. Hooray! And he has one more action. One more action, which can be. Did he search? I don't think he searched. I guess might as well search. He finds more boards. This is working out. I think we're gonna win this. Think we're gonna make it. Okay, what are you saying there, Ryan? Where my grandparents lived in Maine years ago, there was a house that looked exactly like the Night of the Living Dead house. My cousin and I always called it the Night of the Living Dead house. That's cool. You could have dressed up as a zombie and spooked them out. Then you probably would have gotten shot, though. Yeah, so Tom's done. He got more boards. That's great. And now we can go in Zombicide mode again. What we could do is actually do the same trade basically between Ben and Tom. And that would send Tom into Zombicide mode because he's giving the gun back to Ben. That's why it'll be passing the gun back and forth. And like I imagine like the super, what do they call it in Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyan or Saiyan? They're like, rah! Powering up. All right. I think that makes sense to do. We give Ben the gun again and boards too, perhaps, so they can basically trade all their equipment. And then Ben can try to search here for the special melee weapons. But I'm actually thinking of playing this in such a way that somebody else opens the door for him, spending the action. I want Ben to do an exchange. That's one move. And then 2, open the door. And then 3, step in here, which means no time to search. But somebody else could open the door. Like Harry Cooper could do that. And then Ben would be able to do the searching. So maybe Harry Cooper will go first. He'll open the door and then not actually go in there. You could open the door, search, and that's about it, I guess. Yeah, let's do that. So he's gonna open the door so Ben doesn't have to waste time, which is a little bit silly. But let me open that door for you. And he'll search now. So Harry Cooper finds a scope. Oh, discard along with a Winchester 94. The survivor receives a scoped Winchester, maybe used in backpacks. So I think that means I have to search through one of these decks, maybe the ranged deck for the scoped Winchester. Not sure how that works. I think it would be like that. But for now, Harry just carrying this random scope. Okay, he could do an exchange so that somebody could actually use this thing. Think about this. Maybe Tom already went, right? God, I'm losing my mind. Yeah, he already went. Tom went. Harry Cooper. Nobody else went. So Harry Cooper is gonna trade with Tom. So let me show you what they have. So Harry Cooper is gonna give Tom the scope just so that one person has both those items that can be combined. And he'll take the boards and he'll do some boarding. And Tom is gonna wind up exchanging with Ben. And Ben can make this a scoped Winchester at that point. I think that's how it works. So let's do that. Yeah. So trade the scope for the boards. And then Harry can board right away. And that would be the third action, I believe. Yeah. So we can put a board on one of these two windows. And he gets 5 XP, I think. Actually, I'm not sure if it's. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the card. The card says 3. I think this special scenario gives you 5 XP for those pieces that acted as boards, but these ones only count for 3. So I'll just go with that. So Harry is putting down boards like no one else. He's not just complaining to Helen. Oh, look at there's a million weak points. But now he's up to 15 experience. No, 13. Sorry. So soon he'll be in the red zone, which I'm kind of afraid, because that makes monsters more powerful. Zombies spawn more, basically. But how are we doing with the windows anyway? We got 1. We have to get 11, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just 6. We have 5 more to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we can do. I actually like having this window because it gives us the line of sight to shoot guys that spawn here. It's pretty useful. So that was Harry's turn. And now I can do the thing I was saying with Ben. So, oh yeah, Ben wouldn't be the one powering up, it would be Tom, because Tom's giving the gun. Okay, so I kind of screwed that up. But it's okay. We can do it next turn. So Ben will initiate the trade with Tom, get all his stuff. They're going to do a full exchange. Tom powers up. And then Ben can do 2 other things, which I'm not sure what. Can he just pass the gun to somebody else down the line and everybody powers up? I think so. It's so ridiculous. I gotta say, this one thing really, it kind of takes me out of the game. Not taking me out of the game, it just seems a little bit bizarre. And Ryan said, I like it. The remake at the very end, Harry went to the attic. That's where I'd go. Zombies don't climb. Yeah, that's actually a good place. I don't know if in the original there was even an attic. I guess they didn't address that, but that would be a good place to hide. I seem to recall there was like it's been a long time since I saw the remake. Was there like a string hanging down and he just kind of pulled it up? Like a string that would open the door? I mean, lately there's been a ton of comments about like commentary and discussions on the internet and such about what would you do in a zombie apocalypse. I feel like everything's been covered. Max Brooks put out that book in like 2004 or so, and he was like, you could just destroy the staircases. There'd be no way of them getting up here, things like that. So yeah, I'm deciding if I want to be cheesy or not. By passing just passing the gun in the chain, kind of. Why not? Is it within the rules? Okay, so the plan is Ben initiates the trade with Tom. So Tom powers up. Then Ben passes the gun to Cooper, and then Ben powers up. I don't know. Is it worth it? I don't know. Wasting all of the actions. Not much more to do except oh, if Ben powers up, he can fire through the barricades though, so that's actually really good. He could take out this zombie even though he's behind the barricade, because he has that Hawkeye when he's uh in Zombicide mode. But I just realized actually, if he gets 1 more XP, he'll be Hawkeye even in Romero mode. So that's good to know. If he could somehow get a board right now, maybe I played Harry's turn wrong. But if he could get a board right now, he could level up then. I mean, Judy could run to him and pass him the board. I feel like she should just put it down. But yeah, Judy has a board. She could go 1, 2, and give board as her third action. Then Ben can board, and he's like, that might be a good thing to do. Then he can shoot them. So much to think about in this game. It's interesting. But so far, I haven't felt like there's a huge amount of pressure. There is some stuff building here for sure, but as long as the barricades hold, we're okay. But yeah, Ben having Hawkeye would be a huge benefit, I think. Just being able to shoot through the barricades. So why don't I do that? And then I'll have Tom. Yeah, well, let's do one thing at a time. All right, let's run 1, 2, 3. So Judy hands him the boards. As ridiculous as this is, I want to give you experience points, Ben. So I will hand you the boards. My jacket's caught too. Ryan says highly recommend of the Mountain Man book series by Keith Blackmore. My favorite zombie thing ever after the Romero film. Oh, that's cool. I never heard of that one. The only zombie books I've read are the Max Brooks ones, which are the Zombie Survival Guide, World War Z, and I read the first Walking Dead book, which was fun, but not really that memorable. It was mostly about the governor, the creation of the governor, or whatever, or the origin story of the governor, I guess you would say. It was all right, but I wouldn't recommend it necessarily. It's not like an all-time classic or anything. All right. So yeah, Judy's just running boards around, I guess, and yeah. So I guess Ben is gonna. Let me think through his 3 actions. He could initiate the trade, get the gun. Tom is then Super Tom. um, that's 1 action. Then Ben boards up and he kind of levels up, and he has Hawkeye even when he's not Super Ben. And then he can spend his 3rd action to shoot this guy right through the barricades. Hey, let's do that. So first things first, he trades with Tom. Now because Tom's so generous in giving up the gun, Tom becomes Super Tom. And also excuse me, Ben is getting the scope with that. So you can probably combine them, I think. Yeah, I guess Tom could have done it before, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't take an action, I don't think. So Ben has all these goodies now. I have to figure out how to combine them. I think I would look through the deck, maybe one of the decks, to get the scoped Winchester. Tom, I'm going to flip him to the super side, Zombicide. So now you can see he's wielding the table leg torch. But what he has is, I'm supposed to increase this thing as he levels up. So I have to do that for Harry as well. But what he has is shove, and now another special thing, 2 +1 action. That's great. +1 action is a great thing to have, I think. And we have to replace his piece. Don't really have to, but if we're gonna go with the flavor, we see Tom in this miniature has quite a torch and I think a machete or a large knife. Ryan says he read the book so many times, or the series. So good. The main character, Gus, is totally a perfect everyman. Cool. Okay. So now Ben will board up this window, I guess. And he gains 3 XP to level up. And now he has Hawkeye. And yeah, so let me look into how I'm supposed to handle this scoped Winchester business. Combining, I don't know what to look up even actually. Maybe ranged weapon. I won't spend too much time in the rules because I think I have an idea. I think you just have to hunt through the deck for the right item, basically. Alright, I'm going to do that. And if it's not in the deck, then I'm doing it wrong, obviously. But I would think it's in the ranged deck, which is this blue one. So I'm looking for a scoped Winchester. Wait, is this it? I don't know if that's it, because I see a torch right away. It doesn't seem like... I don't know what it is. I guess this one shows all guns. This green one must be it. Show all guns on the back. It's a regular Winchester, another one. Look at all these beautiful guns. Uzi, it's ridiculous. Uzi and Night of the Living Dead, come on. Okay, there's no scoped Winchester there. So let me mix these up again just so I don't have any sense of the order. But I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Survivor receives a scoped winch. What? I guess I could keep looking through random decks. Let's do it. The brown one. Probably not the brown one. Oh my god, there's two more Karen Poor Baby cards in here. Him and Judy have a plus 100 blowing up. Yeah, Tom and Judy, they're good at that exploding thing. Looks like somebody had a cookout. Shuffling the decks because I looked at them. Let's go to the red deck next. Yeah, these are definitely melee weapons. Katana. I still another. How many katanas are in this freaking deck? Holy crap! Probably only two. Yeah, these are definitely melee. Okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this scoped rifle. Let me check this blue one though, just to be complete. Moz shotgun. Oh, I think the blue deck is all things you combine, and you probably don't draw them. Look at this. Moz shotgun, torch, which you combine from the table leg and the lighter fluid. Molotov. Yeah, this must be all things you just combine, and you don't actually draw it like a standard deck. Here we go. Scoped Winchester. All right. So with that in mind, I don't think I need it. Need these to be face down. I can leave it face up, I guess. But this is what's the difference? It looks the same to me. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. It gives me the sniper ability to choose your target. So we haven't really seen a place where that would be hugely beneficial yet. But what that means is normally when you shoot the fatties take the hits first. And if you're only doing 1 damage, it's not enough to kill them. And you don't like keep track of damage, permanent damage. They don't take permanent damage. Basically, you have to do 2 damage to kill a fatty. So if you shoot in a zone with a fatty and you only do 1 damage like this rifle does, then your rifle is essentially negated. So with a sniper, though, you could choose who you're shooting in the zone. And Ryan said, I love that in that round table, Carl Hardman talks about how they got those great gore scenes because he knew a butcher. Yeah. I like how it's all very basic and, just I knew a guy who can help me. Like this very, like a grassroots thing, kind of. But I can discard this scope, too. Okay, so Ben has his scoped Winchester. He has his Hawkeye. He has one more action, so he's going to shoot. Oh, it's a... Damn it, now I'm just remembering. The fatties take 2 damage. I just explained it, but basically the Winchester is completely useless against him. So these fatties, Okay, I'm trying to think what I can actually harm the fatties with. Only the crowbar so far that Harry has does 2 damage. See that lower right number 2? So apparently this rifle is weaker than a crowbar. Okay, I just had a realization there. Wow. So yeah, I was planning to just shoot through there, and that was my whole brilliant plan, but you can't harm the fatties with this gun. I need a better gun. Which is hard to believe, was his fat going to protect his head? I mean, I'm trying to think of it. I guess I could understand how he would withstand maybe he can deal more damage because he's a big guy, but you either kill the zombie by hitting it in the head or not. You can't have a pile of fat protecting your brain around your skull. And Ryan says, Night of the Living Dead really seems to be a 1 in a million thing. Everything seems so random and lucky. Yeah. Excuse me. What is that like? I guess they say like lightning in a bottle kind of a thing. Yeah, it just seems like it was a magical thing. Uh, but yeah, so now Ben can't really shoot through there. So what's he gonna do with his third action? I don't know. I could do what I was saying and just pass the pass the gun down the line. Maybe I'll just do that. I feel like it's kind of cheesy, but What else am I gonna do? You could pass it to either Judy or Cooper. I feel like I've been making Judy too useless, like I'm role playing her too well. Maybe I'll give her the gun. But then again, Ben has Hawkeye. Oh, Judy has Sniper when she gets to the next level, apparently. Okay, that's interesting. Why would she have that? Uh, I mean, I guess I could keep passing it around. For now, it'd be good to have Super Ben just so I could, what I could do with two super people. I'm just using the word super now instead of zombicide. I could have one search here for melee weapons and the other search here for ranged weapons. So that's kind of why I want to do it. All right, so I'm gonna pass the scoped Winchester and bullets to Judy. That's his third action. And Judy is gonna pass the claw hammer to him. So now Ben has the claw hammer, and Judy has the gun. I can't imagine her character in the movie using the gun, but hey, maybe she'll level up and become a sniper. So now that makes Ben super. Please let's not find another relative. I want to retain my superpowers for a little while at least. All right, Ben is super. So now, yeah, now my plan for next turn. Both these guys have gone this turn, so they can't do it now. But for next turn, go here, search. Other guy goes here and search. But that might take one. Yeah, it might be the turn after to search upstairs, unfortunately. But we'll make it happen. All right. Now I'm losing track of who actually went. I think everybody in this room went, and these two did not. So Barbara and Helen, what are you guys gonna do? What are you ladies gonna do? I guess search. I don't know what else they can really do that's useful. They don't have boards. They don't have anything to really hand to anybody else. Barbara has the mason jars, but nobody has lighter fluid yet. Whatever you call it, kerosene or whatever the hell. So yeah, so Helen's gonna search. Excuse me. You know, the only thing I don't like is I know there's two more of those relatives in this deck. So I'm almost tempted not to search, but whatever, let's do it. Helen searches and finds boards. Nice. Ryan says, we'll have to show pictures of your Sonic-themed Halloween costumes. Yeah, we'll do that. We went to, at Edie's daycare, my daughter's daycare, there was one of those trunk or treats where the teachers all kind of decorated their cars, and in the trunk you could pick a candy. So all the kids were dressed up. So Edie was Sonic, my wife was Tails, and I was Knuckles. Rob Bob's going to be Dr. Robotnik on Monday, though, on Halloween. But yeah, this is great that Helen can board something up now. I'm wondering if she should board this window. As it was convenient to be shooting guys at the front door, zombies at the front door. So I don't know. I might leave that window, but we could always board this one for now, I guess. Yeah, let's do it, I guess. Helen's gonna board right here, and she gains 3 XP, and now she has leveled up. And because she is yellow, she's in the yellow, she has 1 free search action, which is nice. I still think you, does that mean you can do 2 searches in a turn? I guess so. Well, I guess there's 2 ways to interpret that. It could be that her search action is free, so she can still do 3 other actions, but she's still subjected to the limit of 1 search per turn. I think that's probably what it is. And Ryan says, I miss those days. My daughter is 16 and too old for family-themed costume sales. Yeah, Rob Bob probably wouldn't be doing that if it wasn't for his little sister. He'd just be like, oh, I don't think I want to go. By the way, it was a funny time. Maybe it was maybe about 5 years ago. Um, maybe even longer ago. Rob Bob was with a group of kids, and I was one of the chaperones. Like, there's a few adults coming along because they were young. And he goes up to one of his friends' houses, rings the doorbell. Hispanic family, if it matters, and asks if he wants to go trick or treating, and he just says the kid answers the door. And he says, "No, my mom says it's the devil's birthday." It's like what? All right, I guess we don't want you to celebrate the devil's birthday if that's what your mom thinks it is. Ryan said I always found Helen Cooper and Judy very attractive. Yeah, they are pretty ladies. What about Barbara though? She's pretty too. All the ladies are pretty in this movie. Um, yeah. So Helen did the boarding right here. Okay, and she got her level up from that. And then she has one more move. She did the search. Shoot, I don't know. Maybe she'll just did that. I don't want to. I feel like I'm overthinking things sometimes. You think Barbara has a weird face? Okay. I don't think she has a weird face. She's usually looking not too happy though. I feel like she looks the most 60s out of everybody. With her hair and everything. Okay. I'm gonna make Helen pass because I don't know what to do with her and I don't want to overthink. So that gives just Barbara. Barbara has nothing to do really either. Did I move her? I can't even remember. I guess I have to make her search. So might as well make her search, right? So Barbara's searching. Hopefully we don't get a relative again. Flammable fluid. So she has a flammable fluid and the mason jars. What could we possibly do with those? Let's see what it says. Discard to make the Molotov. Well, just one Molotov though, so we're gonna do that. Instead of Harry Cooper making the Molotov, in this world, in this universe, it is Barbara coming to get you, Barbara. Molotov. How does this work? Discard, eliminate all actors in the targeted exterior zone. So, actors is the word the rule book says means all living things. Oh, maybe living things is not the right word. Basically, all figures. So, survivors and ghouls are both considered actors. So, if I throw this in a zone, everybody there is dead. Any spawn zone tokens in the target zone may be moved to another spawn zone. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Does that mean I could take this spawn zone thing and move it to another spawn zone? What does that mean? I would take this and move it over here to this. How does it make sense? It's probably a typo somewhere. You have to use it in an exterior zone. You can't put it in the house. But it's interesting they frame it like this because the rulebook says if any of your people die, it's game over. I guess maybe in some scenes there's an exception, but it seems like it would be unplayable in a zone with survivors because then it would just be, oh, you killed that person, game over. But anyway, Barbara has a Molotov now. And Ryan, what do you think now? I do often think I'd be effed in a zombie attack. Our living room is almost all glass. Zombies would break right through. Yeah, you'd have to board it up real good. Okay. So Barbara has two more moves. She could run outside and fire a Molotov right here. Kill all three fatties at once. Um, why don't we get crazy and start to do that? You can move right through the windows, by the way. I keep thinking you have to use the doors, but you can go right through the windows. The windows. So she wouldn't be there right away, but she could go like second action, third action. I don't know. I feel kind of. I feel like Barbara shouldn't be outside by herself, but the plan would be to start to get in the line of sight. And what's the distance on this thing? It says 1, so she'd have to be next to them, and she could just blow them all up at once, though. Why don't we do that? She'll end her turn. You can't even see it because I kind of cut out that area. I figured it wouldn't be used much, but I could zoom out a little bit. Hopefully not see too much of my junk on the floor. Alter the view a little bit. I should get a boat. A lot of people here do have boats, but I don't. Okay, go to the island. Which island? Any island. All right. So I zoomed out just so we could see where Barbara is outside. I don't know if this is a good idea, but why not? Let's get a little reckless. So she's gonna try to get next to some zombies and blow them up with her Molotov. It's gonna be funny. Okay, that is finally the human's turn. It's over. The survivor's turn. So let's get on with the ghouls. Yeah, trying to think a little bit. So these ghouls are all activated. I don't know if they go to Barbara. Where are you headed? Straight up, yeah. I don't know where I would go with a boat. I could go to Fire Island. You could look up how that is. We have like basically this stretch of beach is like a thin strip below the main part of Long Island. Um, but there is a bridge connecting it, so you could argue the zombies would eventually head over. If not, the people already there becoming zombies. But yeah, let me try to understand how these zombies are going to move now that Barbara's outside. I'm not sure if it makes a difference. Okay, so they can't attack, so they're going to move. I got that part down. They select their destination zone. This is what it says. Look at Barbara being a badass. The first zone they select is the one with the most survivors in line of sight. So they have no line of sight to any survivors right now because these barricades block line of sight, and Barbara over here is not in line of sight because she's around the corner. If no survivors are visible, they select the zone with the most survivors. Okay, so they're trying to go in here. They're all like, In both cases, distance doesn't matter. A ghoul always always chooses the zone with the most survivors it can see. Well, it can't see these ones though, so I guess it doesn't matter. I don't understand that. So it said if no survivors are visible, to select the zone with the most survivors, but in both cases, distance doesn't matter. A ghoul always... Okay, so I guess they're going to this place, even though they can't see it. I think that's what it's saying. I'll go with it. So I think that means this guy is basically going to pound on the barricades, but he can't get through because he's a fatty and not a breaker. And these ones are going to go over here and do the same thing next turn. But right now they're just a pile. They're in a pile. And Barbara is going to take some time to actually get over there because she can only move 3 spaces in a turn. Barbara is not leveled up, right? No, she's not. How did she get... Oh, she killed 1 zombie, so she has 1 XP. Yeah, so, it's interesting. If a breaker does appear here, I might be in trouble. But for now, I'm good. But we actually have to just draw the zombies right now. So first we do this one, the white one, black and white one. We have breakers over there, uh-oh. And it's only 1 though, so that's not too bad. You can see that if we were at orange level, we would be in trouble with 5. It kind of ramps up quickly. But just 1 breaker isn't terrible to deal with. You can just do the same trick where we shoot through that window, perhaps. Here's a breaker again. Ryan says, was hoping you'd at least get at least 1 person in who was a fan of the topic on this. Yeah, nobody's here. I mean, I've been seeing like, oh, I see 4 people now, which is the most I've seen all night. So, hello, people. We are playing some Night of the Living Dead board gaming action here. But yeah, the other spawn point is here. Let's see what happens. Oh, I got relatives again. Oh, man, I just got these people in the Zombicide mode, and now the relatives show up again. Hey, Megan. Megan says, do you periodically get news reports with that wacky sheriff? I mean, we could. Let's see if I can do that. We're dead. They're dead. They're all messed up. I actually have the video. I was showing it earlier. The movie. Why don't we take a little break? I'm actually going to refill my water and you can watch this interview with the sheriff. Ready?
The ghouls. This one conducted by Sheriff Conan McClellan in Butler County, Pennsylvania. So now let's go to that film report. All law enforcement agencies and the military have been organized to search out and destroy the marauding ghouls. The Survival Command Center at the Pentagon has disclosed that a ghoul can be killed by a shot in the head or a heavy blow to the skull. Officials are quoting. What ghoul?
What do you think from the supply wagon, Gus?
No, we're all right. Hey, Cass, put that thing all the way in the fire. We don't want it getting up again. All right, up now.
Chief McClellan, how's everything going?
Oh, things aren't going too bad. Men are taking it pretty good. You want to get on the other side of the road over there?
Chief, do you think we'll be able to defeat these things?
Well, we killed 19 of them today right in this area. Those last 3 we caught trying to claw their way into an abandoned shed. They must have thought somebody was in there. There wasn't, though. We heard them making all kind of noise. We came over and beat them off, blasted them down.
Things as good as your fist. Can I see you here?
Yeah, okay.
Chief,
He just said he beat
if I
off
were
the
surrounded by
zombies.
6 or 8 of these things, would I stand a chance with them?
Well, there's no problem. If you had a gun, shoot them in the head. That's a sure way to kill them. If you don't, get yourself a club or a torch. Beat them or burn them. They go up pretty easy.
Well, Chief McClellan, how long do you think it will take you until you get the situation under control?
Well, that's pretty hard to say. We don't know how many of them there are. We know when we find them, we can kill them.
Are they slow moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Well, in time, would you say you ought to be able to wrap this up in 24 hours?
Well, we don't really know. We know we'll be into it most of the night, probably into the early morning. We're working our way toward Willard, and we'll team up with the National Guard over there, and then we'll be able to give a more definite view.
Thank you very much, Chief McClellan. This is Bill Cardill,
You, Chief
WIC TV 11 News.
Go away now.
Thank you, Bill, for that report. Officials.
Okay. Nice little break there. Yeah, that was horror host. I think his name was Chilly Willy as the reporter. I remember hearing he died recently. Recently meaning like probably in the last 10 years by now. Yeah, like every few years I hear somebody from Night of the Living Dead passed away. Like, oh, that's sad. And now it's like not too many people left. Yeah. So unfortunately I got another relatives card. I don't know why I'm getting so many of these. I don't know if there's more in the decks than I thought, but that always cancels the Zombicide mode, which I spent last turn planning to make Tom and Ben into Zombicide mode, which means they're powered up essentially. But the relatives demoralize everybody, so that happens. So we already had Karen show up. We killed Karen Cooper. And we killed Johnny, and then we had Johnny come again, so I said it was Johnny's grandfather who says, "Boy, you'll be damned to hell." And now it's going to be, can we make up something about Karen? Anyway, it's Karen 2. I got nothing. Karen 2 shows up right here. Maybe it's, we can make up somebody else. It's Tom's little sister. I don't know. Because he's from around the area, right? So Tom's little sister shows up. Yeah. Now we have to deal with her, and we are all demoralized because of that. So Ben and Tom go back to their regular modes. So we change their beautiful orange figures back to the regular ones. Man, that sucks. I want to do the searching for the advanced weapons, basically. Okay. So, yeah, Barbara could still try to do her Molotov plan. I zoomed out because before I was zoomed in a little bit more, but you couldn't see the outside here. Barbara is going to creep around. Her plan, I'm not doing it right now, is to creep around this corner and kind of nuke these zombies from orbit with the Molotov cocktail she put together, which is totally not what happens in the movie. She's completely catatonic, but everybody is useful in this version of Night of the Living Dead. But yeah, I have to deal with a breaker up here. I feel like whoever has a gun could probably shoot them, blow them away, beat them off, whatever. Judy has the gun right now. So a technique I've been using is not boarding up this window, and when these zombies show up at the front door, I have line of sight from this room, and I can just pick them off through that window. It's been working great so far. Just filling in Meg and whoever else might have joined about some tactics I've been doing. I know it's hard to see what's what probably, especially with overhead miniatures. You know, you can only see the tops of their heads, but I could give a quick review of everybody. Here we have Judy, who pretty much does nothing in the movie except blow up with Tom in the car. In this game, she's pretty useful though. Here we have Tom, who is Judy's beau, who blows up in the car with Judy, but he is useful in the movie. And here we have the all-star Ben and his best pal, Mr. Harry Cooper. Over in this room, somehow everybody congregated here, but Helen is holding the front. Harry Cooper's wife, Helen, is holding the front with her trowel, which is kind of funny that she has a trowel because in the movie, that's the weapon that her daughter kills her with. And over here is Barbara, who's apparently an assassin with she's a Molotov assassin, we'll call it. I don't know. She's planning to creep around outside and blow up zombies with her Molotov cocktail. Over here we have a breaker zombie, which is a kind of zombie who can smash through barricades. In the movie, I don't think there were specific designations like this kind of zombie and that kind of zombie, but it works for the purpose of the game. Some of them can smash through. These are the fatties. I have 4 of them right here. They all take double damage and dish out double damage because they're very large. And over here we have the Karen Cooper, who has shown up for the second time, and we're saying this was, I don't know, did we say Judy's sister? Making up a BS story. That's about everybody. So far, I think we're doing okay. Our goal in this scenario is simply to board up all the windows. We have 11 in total. This one's a door, so that one doesn't count, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I believe, if I didn't miscount. We still have to board up this one here. That's one window. This one here I'm leaving open until the end because I can pick off zombies that come from the front. This is the spawning point. These pieces here are the spawning points. They show the mob of ghouls, as it were. And this is another one. It's essentially the same, even though it's a different color. The white one, the black and white one, just means that one gets activated first, if it even makes a difference. Yeah, so these 2 here have to get bored. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I think we win. And then I'll probably go to bed because it's already 3 hours in somehow. But nobody has any boards right now. We have to keep finding them. So basically we're going to search a lot and try to fend off zombies while we're searching. Searching for boards. Alright. All that said, that's their turn. They go and they take their zombies take their action, then they spawn, and then I go. So I can make things happen. Yeah, so let's get Barbara out of the way. She can move 3 zones, as they call it, and then she's done 1, 2, 3. Now she's actually safe because the way the zombie logic works is if they can see you in their line of sight, they go to whichever zone, which is again the game's term for a space. What's it called? A space. They go whichever space in their line of sight that has the most survivors. Survivors are the name for the good guys, and she's out of the line of sight. She's out of the line of sight, so they won't go to her. But what they will do is if there's no one visible, they will go to the space with the most people because maybe they know there's people there. So basically next turn, these guys are all going to helplessly pound. These fatties are all going to helplessly pound on these barricades. Meanwhile, the Karen Cooper clone is going to join them. Assuming I still have a higher concentration of people here, I guess. For this guy, he can see Helen, and he's going to smash up stuff because that's what these breakers do. They actually take their one. Each zombie has one action, but this guy, he will smash all barricades that are touching his space or adjacent to his space, and it'll open the door too. So they're pretty dangerous because they really tear through barricades fast. So I want to shoot him with this whole window line of sight thing that I've set up. But yeah, so Barbara went. She just moved. What's next? Tom is not. All right, my guys are not super anymore, but Tom does have shove, which is good. He can shove a zombie away. So what does Helen Cooper doesn't really have a whole lot. She has a free search action though, so that's good. She leveled up. She's in the yellow zone, so she gets this yellow ability, free search action. But why don't we worry about taking out the breaker? Because that's my top concern at the moment. So Judy has a gun. Here's Judy. So she can take a shot and simply has to roll for her scoped Winchester. We managed to combine a scope with the basic Winchester. She has to roll a 3 plus, and she can shoot it because she is in the range of 1 to 3 spaces away. She's 1, 2 away. So why don't we get that out of the way? Because if it fails, we want someone else to possibly deal with that breaker. So, but she gets 3 actions. So if she misses the first time, she could spend the other 2 actions shooting as well. So it's a pretty good shot of killing this breaker. So the first shot, again, we need 3 her up. Let's see what happens. She misses. Let's roll again. Second action, 3 her up. She gets a breaker has been broken, and Judy gets a notch in her belt. This is the first time she's done anything useful, so she's already more useful than her character in the movie. Though she's been the least useful so far, just by chance. But that worked out, and she has 1 more action left. You know, the thing is with the Karen clone in play, we can't turn into Zombicide mode. So this game has a weird thing where you can go into Zombicide mode where your guy is more powerful essentially. And the rule for this specific scene we are playing, which is like a scenario, a scene is a scenario, is that anytime you hand the Winchester over to another player, you become more trustworthy or something, and therefore you go into Zombicide mode. So we've been passing this Winchester around like it's candy. And unfortunately, every time a relative shows up, it cancels our Zombicide modes. And I want to use the Zombicide mode because I can search in this room here for special melee weapons, but only if I have a guy in Zombicide mode. And upstairs, similarly, but for special ranged weapons. I'm starting to think I should just focus on searching for boards, though, and just finish off the game. Get these 4 more boarded windows in place, and then the game is over. And yeah, it's very late, so I should try to focus on wrapping it up, I guess. So let's see. Judy has 1 more move. I guess you can just search. Let's just do that. Searching for board is what we need to do, so let's search for boards. Hopefully we don't draw another relative. Ah, oh, another relative. How many relatives are there? This is ridiculous. Anyway, this card says Karen, poor baby. Set a relative in the zone, then discard. All right, so I guess it's better to get them out of the way in clusters, but it's absurd. And then we have Johnny too. Then Johnny, it's the 3rd Johnny we're encountering. This time we're gonna say we actually didn't kill the first one because we just hit the part of his brain he doesn't use, his cerebral cortex. We really got to get the brain stem. I'm making something up. But Johnny just appeared there. He was actually hiding in this kitchen drawer right here, or he was in the oven. So everybody reverts to Romero mode. Not Romero mode is the basic mode, the opposite of Zombicide mode. Nobody's in that mode, so it doesn't matter in that respect. But we have a zombie in our face. Fortunately, we have 3 people who haven't actually taken their turn yet, so they can wail on him. Yeah, the traits are pretty cool, Ryan. And one thing I like about components like this is when physically built into this tray, you can see that you have 1 item in 1 hand. It even shows a hand icon. 1 item in the other hand, and you can hold 3 extra items on top of that. And it's like you don't have to refer to the rules like, oh, how many items can I have and stuff, because the physical design of this tray kind of makes it impossible to forget. So I like when designers think of those kinds of things. Like, just try to make it easy on people's brains. Where's the priest? Oh, God. All right, let's take out this Johnny clone. What's the best way to do it? So Ben has a claw hammer, which would basically hit on a 4 4 plus. Judy already did her turn. Tom has a table leg, which also hits on 4 plus. And Cooper has a crowbar, which also hits on 4 plus. It does double damage, but it doesn't matter because the relative only takes 1 damage. So basically, it doesn't matter a heck of a lot who hits him. So yeah, sure. Let's say Harry's gonna attack. Actually, who needs experience? We have the concept of experience. Tom is in the yellow area. Harry's in the yellow. Ben is in the yellow, so it doesn't matter a huge amount. Let's go with Ben's gonna hit him with the hammer. Okay, so it's Ben's turn. He's hammer timing Johnny Clone and misses. Let's go again, I guess. Second action. Misses again, and do I want to make him search? I think I do. Because I really want to get all the searches in. So you can search once per turn. I think you can't search with a zombie in the same room, though, right? Yeah, I think that's what it said in the rules. So I guess I might as well just attack again. I was going to think of just searching so that I don't waste anybody's search. Yeah, there has to be no ghouls in that zone. Alright, so he's going to spend his third action making another attempt at rolling a 4, 5, or 6, which seems to happen a lot in this game. I like fail at a 50-50 chance like multiple times in a row. Okay, this time he got him. Thunk. Ben is at 10 XP, which is this little slider here. Okay. So with that out of the way, kind of Ben wasted his turn, but we can still have more people search and stuff. Yeah, basically we have to do Helen, Cooper, and Tom now. Helen gets a free search. I don't know what she's going to do besides that, though. Let's start with Tom. Actually, he has a flashlight, which lets him draw 2 cards when he searches. So Tom's going to search. He finds plenty of bullets. Okay. And plenty of shells. Okay. Sure. He puts them in his back pocket. He's gonna put these shells in his flashlight. I don't know. But we don't have any shotguns yet, so the 2 boxes of shells that we found aren't very useful. Okay, so that was 1 move for Tom. 1 action for Tom. I don't know what else to do with him. Because mostly we just have to search. So we can get boards, and he's already used his 1 search, so it's like, I don't know, where do I move? Where would I want to move him? I guess I can move him to a place that needs boarding, so that when he searches later in subsequent turns, he'll be right there. So maybe this room here. So he's gonna go, he did 1 move, so we can go second move, third move. How about that? Okay. Let's do Cooper. He's gonna search now. He finds flammable fluid. Okay, that's good. He holds on to that. And his other 2 actions. Now I kind of want to maintain that this is the room that has the most people. Because if I don't, well, I guess I just need at least 1 person. Oh, well, depends how I do it. Basically, these guys are going to move to the zone with the most people if there's nobody in line of sight. So we want to control the zombies. We don't want them sneaking up on Barbara, for one thing. So the way Barbara's Molotov works is basically she has to be exactly 1 space away to use it. Can't be 2, can't be the same space, and she kills everything in that space instantly. No rolls or anything. So the idea that I'm hoping for is if there's a lot of zombies congregated right here, and the next turn she can go 1, 2, 3 maybe. Maybe that's not the way to do it, but basically I want her to take out a large group of zombies. I have to get the specifics down still, though. And right to the claw hammer to the head would not feel good. Yeah, would it feel better than a crowbar, though? I don't know. A crowbar does more damage than any other weapon I've seen so far. It does more than the gun, even. So basically, these fatties can only be killed, well, with the exception of the Molotov, which is like an insta-kill. But it does... The gun cannot kill the fatties. It's very strange. Because you think you could shoot him in the head, like, you could argue that if these were anything but zombies that are only vulnerable in the head, that sure their big bodies make a difference, but I could if I shoot Karen in anywhere but the head, she won't die either. So it's like, why does it make a difference that they're big? That's the problem I have with this game, and I'm gonna send a complaint to the manager. All right. What the heck was I doing? Harry did one action, but has two more. I think that's where we were. So yeah, maybe he'll just camp out here. Well, I mean, I guess I could do the same thing I did with Tom. I can move him here, and this would still be the closest place with the most people. Maybe is that how it works? I don't know. I'll go with that. Let's put him here just so he's ready to board as well. So second and third actions, and now it just leaves Helen Cooper, who has a free search action. So yeah, sure, let's do it. Boards, hooray! So she can board. Okay. Trying to think of how to plan it though. Yeah, I wonder if I screwed up a little. If she moves here and starts boarding, because I feel like I should, then this becomes the room with the most people, and this horde's going to start shuffling in that direction, because that's what they do. Maybe that's fine, though. I don't know. Uh, that might actually be beneficial for my barber plan. So check this out. I guess I have to do the math, but if they want to go here, I think, when I say do the math, I mean for the closest path, but I think they're going to want to go this way. Then Karen is going to go that way. I don't know. But what's going to happen is they'll go here. I guess Karen would go here. That's the problem that I didn't anticipate. But then anybody else who spawns here, they're all going to be on the same place, same space. So I could just nuke that group then. Yeah, I might just have to manually take care of the Karen zombie and then drop the Molotov. I only get 3 moves. Well, it's late, so I'm gonna assume that's how it works. It would go here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I don't know what they consider the shortest path. Would they consider going through the house? Because that would be shorter. But I don't want to dig through the rules for that. I'm just gonna say they wouldn't. All right. I'm gonna go with what I just said. We're gonna assume they would want to go that way and not count through the house where boards are, unless you would. I guess with the window open, that would be a shorter path. But I'm thinking, well, how would they know the window's open? I'll just go by what I think the rules are strictly, which is that they would go to the shortest path, which would be through this window. Let me count it though. Okay, let's put the piece down. Where did I put? Okay, so she found the board. She's gonna go first action because the search was free. Okay, now she's gonna put the boards on the window. Fine. Okay, boards on the window. Ta-da! And she gets 3 experience for doing so. And so now she's a little bit deeper into the yellow. She's at 11. Looks like people have left while I was deliberating. Great. That's how it goes. Not keeping things that exciting. All right. So that means we have how many windows left? 1, 2, 3 left. That's not bad at all. And she has 1 more action left. Can't search again though. Thank you for being here, Ryan. I'm gonna try to wrap this up soon. I feel like we can. I'm just a little bit uncertain about how zombie movement's supposed to work is the only thing. Okay, let's just leave Helen there. And I think that's everybody, right? Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, so now, um, without fretting about the rules too much, I think that they're all going to try to go here because nobody's in line of sight. And I think that means the shortest way would be them going this way. So Karen goes here, this mob goes here. And now we have to spawn. So first off, the black and white area spawns more breakers. Okay, at least only one again. Well, Judy can do her gun trick again, I suppose. And then over here, now this is kind of what I was hoping, that they would all bunch up here, so maybe this will work out. Uh-oh, I don't like this. Barricade and door opening. Oh, this doesn't sound good. Well, we're in the yellow, so we don't get nothing happens. On every zone with the walkers. Oh, we don't have any walkers. This is not Walking Dead where zombie is synonymous with walkers. Walkers are the Bill Hinsmans. So we don't actually have any walkers in the game, so nothing happens. We actually haven't drawn any of the whole game. That's interesting. They're supposed to be like the basic grunts, the walkers. Maybe I didn't shuffle good enough. Okay, so that is their... that's their whole turn, right? Yeah. Okay, I gotta make a quick pit stop. I should have done that when I got my drink. So you get to watch a moment. A moment of zen. I'm gonna pick a random part that you can watch of the movie while I use the John. Here you go. Enjoy.
Maybe 6 or 7.
Look, you two can do whatever you like. I'm going back down to the cellar, and you better decide. Because I'm going to board up that door, and I'm not going to unlock it again no matter what happens.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Cooper.
No, I'm not going to wait. I've made my decision, now you make yours.
Now, wait a minute. Let's think about this. We can make it to the cellar if we have to. And if we do decide to stay down there, we'll need some things from up here. So let's at least consider this a while.
You box yourself in the cellar and those things get in the house, you've had it. At least up here you have a fighting chance.
Yeah, it looks like about 8 or 10 out there now.
It's more than there were. There are a lot out back, too.
It's all right.
Uh-oh, I just showed a naked butt. Naked boobs. Bugs. Not brains, but bugs.
We gotta fix these boards.
You're crazy.
You're crazy. And one time I was talking with a coworker, and he was like trashing the whole zombie genre. He was like, it's so stupid. In all those movies, they always eat the brains, right? How are human teeth supposed to bite through a skull? I had to break it to him. They don't actually eat brains in any of the serious zombie movies. Just in the parody, or not parody, but the half comedy Return of the Living Dead. In any of the George Romero movies, they're not munching on brains specifically. So, it's kind of funny how people get these ideas about things through the humor. It's like, well, the original didn't have that. I actually think that The Simpsons really propagated the whole brains thing because they had that early Treehouse of Horrors episode, Brains. Yeah, that zombie with Helen Cooper. That's right, Marilyn Eastman. Yeah, I'm getting so tired, but I do want to finish this up. So I don't remember where I was. That's right. I drew that special card about the walkers doing stuff, but then I didn't have any walkers, and then I didn't. Did I do anything since then? I don't think so. So I guess it's time for all the people to take their turns. So yeah, my plan with Barbara, I think I can still do it, but she'll get munched on a little bit by the Karen clone. Let me tell you the plan though. That is, she would basically use for 3 actions. She goes 1, 2, and 3, blows up this whole group with the Molotov. The thing is, then she has no more actions to attack the Karen, and she would take a hit next turn. But since this game is so lenient with zombie bites, it doesn't really matter, right? She'd be hit by one of, she'd be 1/3 dead. But I think it's reasonable to do that, just to take out that whole group. Otherwise, I don't know if there's a way I could get them to all congregate very easily. Unless, maybe I could. Again, just going by the numbers, though, it's fine to take a bite. But what I could do is have everybody here, and then they would all congregate probably to here, I think. But I don't want to do that. I'll do my plan because a bite doesn't really mean much in this game. Yeah, that's what I said before. The Return of the Living Dead said brains, but I think Simpsons popularized it because I didn't hear about everybody going, "Oh yeah, so like zombies go brains," until like after the Simpsons episode. That's where Simpsons got it from, obviously. But yeah, I guess I'll do my Barbara plan because bites don't mean much. All right, so it's an automatic thing. I don't even have to hit. So we'll go 1, 2. Hello, Karen. I don't think that the fact that she's in the same space stops me from shooting. But I don't want to look it up. So we kill all these fatties in one fell swoop. Good job, Barbara. Now she has to take a bite next turn, but again, it doesn't really make a heck of a difference. I'm going to assume because she killed 4, she gets 4 XP. So she's at 5, still in the blue zone. And, yeah. We have to deal with the breaker, so I guess we'll do Judy with her gun. Judy still has the gun, so she'll do the same trick I've been doing. I'm surprised I found this in the first game. I would have thought I would blunder through it and go, oh, now I can't shoot on the outside. Because if this was barricaded, I would have to deal with all these guys breaking in, but I can just keep picking them off through this window. It's kind of funny. I feel like I'm cheating almost. I just figured out a trick is all. All right, so Judy, just roll over Judy. She hits on a 3 or plus. We'll take out the breaker. She does it in one shot. Another breaker for the fire. Another one for the fire. And Judy gets another XP. She has 2 now, just because that's all she's done so far is kill the 2 breakers that have appeared right there. So yeah, she has 2 more moves. I guess she'll search. So for her second move. Hopefully they're telling me she doesn't find a freaking relative again. A flashlight, okay. So Judy has a flashlight. She'll just put that in her backpack. Because you can use it from your backpack for one thing. She has her rifle and bullets in her hands. Okay, so she has 1 more move. I don't know. I guess she'll stay put. Sounds good to me. Okay, so she's staying put. I think we can wrap this up soon. So Ben's going to search now. Should Ben try to go outside and save Barbara from the Karen? Really, she's pretty much as good of a fighter as Ben is in this game. So it's not like he's gonna be a hero. Uh, oh, maybe I should. I guess that's probably the best move. What I probably could have done with Judy is break down the barrier. It'd be 2 actions to break down the barrier and open the door. I think. I don't know. I'm getting tired. Let's make Ben go, and he'll just do a search. Hopefully, he'll find some boards right now. That's not another relatively a scope. Okay, how many scopes are in this place? Christ, another rifle scope lying around. Okay, that's his search. What else is he gonna do? I think I might just make him stand pat too, because really, basically, we have to get a window here, and a window here. So it feels like it makes sense to have people searching in the rooms where they have to do the boarding. But maybe I'll move one person back to this room to board up this one soon. Probably the last one, the last thing to board. So I'll make Ben stand pat there. And let's make now Helen do her free search right here. She finds boards. Hooray! More boards. Okay. Yeah, I guess she could just do it right now. So she's gonna put more boards down right there. Let's punch out another boards piece. And this room is finished. She gets another, what, 2 experience? 3? 1, 2, 3. She's getting close to the red zone. I almost don't want to get her there because then more zombies more zombies spawn when that happens. But that was her second move. No, that was her first action because the search was free. So she can go here and just hang out. I don't know. And he grabbed at me. Okay. Yeah, so now Tom's gonna go here and use his flashlight, so he draws 2. That's his second action. Hopefully there's no relative. Mason jar, nice. And another relative. Okay, so this is my biggest beef with the relatives. They could come up with any other kind of random event that comes up just to mix things up and not have a zillion relatives. Because you have to do a lot of searching in this game. A relative, I feel like it should be a once or twice a game thing, like in the movie. Maybe if you get unlucky, you get 3 of them. But the way this is designed, you have to keep searching, and you're going to get a lot of these freaking Karens. So, now it's Johnny again, I guess. I mean, I could always add a few of them from the deck unless we're, we're afraid it's going to make the balance of the game too easy. Usually games like this, though, you can tweak to your taste. But yeah, I'm really kind of like, another relative. Are you for real? Anyway, that was Tom's second action, so he can attack the relative. He's actually only got a table leg. He's got all this stuff, but only a table leg to fight with at the moment. So I guess he'll bash it with his third action. And hopefully get a 4, 5, or 6 to kill it. He does. Take that, you Johnny clone. I have no more stories to make up because I'm tired. And what was that, the 6th relative or the 5th? It's just ridiculous now. Okay, so that's Tom's turn. And that just leaves Cooper. He needs to do some searching too. So he'll step over here as well, I guess. And do a search. Yeah, that'd be cool if they had the new zombies. But I feel like there should be other events in here somehow. I don't know. I'm not sure what exactly, but not freaking a million relatives. Like maybe put 2 relatives in this deck. Because there's also some. Sorry, wrong deck here. Putting discards in the wrong place. This has some. This is the zombie deck, and the search deck has some relatives, and they need to not have it so you can have like 20 relatives. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being silly. Anyway, I found plenty of bullets for Cooper. And you could argue, well, maybe if you search from other decks, in Zombicide mode, you wouldn't keep getting it. But I can't get in Zombicide mode because every time I try to, a freaking relative appears. I guess what I could do is go into Zombicide mode and then have everybody cease all searching just because the relatives just show up randomly in the house so much. It doesn't even make sense. Like, what was she under the table or something? Like, maybe once for the entire game there could be, oh my God, I can't believe there was a zombie hiding in that place in the house. I don't know. I guess that's my single biggest beef in the game. Hey, look, I just realized that Helen Cooper left her base behind. Okay, so did I do everything? I guess Cooper has more moves if I want him to take them, but I guess I will not. Did I just make a dumb mistake? Oh, I'll be fine. But I just realized the window that Barbara exited through is now boarded up. She wanted to come back that way and she finds it boarded up. Yeah, I'm a YouTube game streaming now. All right, I think I'll be okay with Barbara though, despite that stupidity I just did. In any case, now the zombies are active, because that's all I'm doing, and she bites Barbara. Again, you don't actually roll; it's automatic, but it doesn't make a big difference. A zombie bite isn't the worst thing in this game. But now we have to spawn. Who spawns over here? Please don't be another relative. Barricade and door opening on every zone with breakers. Okay, we have no breakers. Cool. So that was basically canceled, and this one is rel relative. They're killing me with these relatives. Oh my God. All right, another relative. Ah. Okay. So Barbara needs to run away. And hopefully she's not screwed because of the boarding. What I realize is she can't run this direction because she would have to stop at this other relative. So she can run this way, but where's she going to get into the house? Maybe it doesn't matter because we'll win the game by then. The rules don't say that all the survivors have to be in the house. It says you just have to have all the windows boarded up and no zombies in the house. So I could have Barbara stuck outside. And I'm like, yay, we won. And Barbara's like, hey guys, you forgot about me. Yep, just all indicated windows are blocked with closed barricades and there's no ghouls in the house. We can leave Barbara outside. Okay, so we still need to find more boards though. But yeah, people can go now. People can take their turn. I could have Barbara just try to fight these guys right here. Um, she has tire iron. She could probably take out the Karen one at least. I don't know. Maybe I'll just make her run. Why don't I defer on her and just do some searching for boards? So let's do Tom first because he does two. And I've actually exhausted his deck. So his first draw is plenty of shells. Okay. So Tom has to drop something. I'll just leave the plenty of shells where I found them because he's full of, his inventory's full. But I have to reshuffle this search deck because I exhausted it. And I think I accidentally put some things in the other deck. So let me figure that out. It just means the likelihood of more relatives is pretty high, unfortunately. Let's do a quick shuffle. Just need some boards, really. And there should be a lot of boards in this discard deck, too. A lot of relatives and boards. Because everything else I'm holding pretty much, but the boards get discarded, so there should be a lot here. Yeah, it probably... it might literally be 50-50 boards and relatives. Something like that. Mix them up, mix them up. Alright. His second thing found from the search is... Please don't be a relative. Boards! Hooray! Okay, he has to drop something because he's full, but I don't care. Let's drop the shells, other shells, because we don't have any shotguns. And, that's his first action. He could go 2 and 3 and board this up, only because I want to do this one last. Because it's been useful for line of sight purposes. So let's do that. Tom goes here and boards that. And now we just got one to go. Strangely, I think I'm out of board pieces, though. I wonder if you really aren't allowed to board the doors, which doesn't make sense to me, but that might be the case. Let's discard the boards. So yeah, now we just have, I mean, I feel like between Harry and Helen fishing right here, pretty much everyone else too, we should probably be able to get a board and put it up. It's just, do I draw a bunch of relatives first and therefore it causes a problem. Actually, there's some rules about if you don't have the miniatures you need for the type of zombie that you draw, then all the existing zombies of that type get activated and take their action. So that actually could be bad for Barbara. Because if I draw a survivor, and there's no more survivors to draw, that means Karen bites her and this one goes there. And then if I do draw a survivor again, then they would both bite her and kill her and the game is lost. I think that's how it would work. Maybe I should move her. Make her run away before I move anyone else. I was deferring her to the end before, but I think I need to make sure Barbara won't get killed. Okay, so let's do that. It takes actually 2 spaces to move away if you're in the same space as them. So 1, 2, 3 is their entire turn. And I think everybody but Tom still can go here. So let's say, yeah, I think that's right. So Cooper, I'm getting tired, so I'm not remembering correctly, but I'm having trouble remembering. Cooper's gonna go now. Oh no, a relative. Okay. So does it work the way I said? I think it does, but let me just verify. If so, it's good. It's good that I moved Barbara out of the way. Running out of miniatures. Players may run out of miniatures of the indicated type when required to place a ghoul on the board through spawning. In this case, the remaining ghoul miniatures are placed if there are any. Then all the ghouls of their indicated type immediately resolve an extra activation. Multiple extra activations may occur in a row. Keep an eye on the ghoul population. Technically that was not the result of spawning if we're gonna rules lawyer it, because it was from this card. Spawning is a special step in the ghoul phase, but I'm not gonna rules lawyer it. Let's just go with it. So these guys get activated and they're chasing Barbara. Actually, they might. You know, they don't chase Barbara by the rules. You would think they do. By the rules, she's out of the line of sight, and therefore they go to the room with the most people. So they're gonna actually head down here. Oh, how about that? She goes around a corner and it's like they don't have, what's the term? Persistent, I can't remember the term. Object persistence. Yeah, that's right, Ryan. That is pretty freaky. The audio when Helen Cooper dies, it is a freaky moment for sure. I agree. It still gets to me. Okay, so the zombies are really dumb. Even dumber than in the movie. So yeah. That was Harry Cooper's first action. He can't search again, though. He's gonna stay put, I guess. Let's do Helen Cooper. Gets her free search. Let's see what happens. Boards, and she boarded it up right here. And we win. And Barbara's still outside. Ta-da! We could make up something silly. Maybe they just pull off the boards momentarily and let Barbara in and put it back up. But technically, by the rules, you just have to have all the boards up and no zombies in the house. It's okay if we leave Barbara outside. All right, so thanks for hanging out with me, Ryan and Megan briefly, and whoever else might be watching. This was a fun game, Zombicide, Night of the Living Dead, and I'm a fan of this movie, so I kind of had to get it. Yeah. So what did I think about it? I thought I had fun. That's the bottom line. As I mentioned earlier, it's hard to capture in game form Night of the Living Dead because a lot of it is about exposition through dialogue and also arguing about plans and things like that. Whereas in a game like this, everybody's cooperating neatly. You could make a game in which there are cards you draw that mean like, arguing takes place. So you beat up each other and take damage or something like that. There's another game called I'm throwing a blank. It's a zombie game, and I think it has something related to like cold or winter in the name, Dawn of Winter or something like that. And that actually has secret motives, and so that way each player is kind of scheming against each other potentially. But probably my biggest beef with this game, I'm being forgiving about it possibly not totally capturing the movie, is these freaking freaking relatives. There's way too many of them. It just felt absurd. Just Johnny's and Karen's popping up every 5 minutes. Um, Overall, I like the game. I still think the Zombicide mode thing is a little video gamey feeling almost, and the frequency of the relatives means it's very short-lived. Uh, so I'm picking it apart, but all in all, I had fun. That's the bottom line. It was zombies. It still had all these lovely characters from Night of the Living Dead. It worked for me basically. But yeah, that's it for this game. That's it for this stream. That's it for our Halloween horror series of board games for October. And yeah, we might play board games again later, but it's pretty draining for me to do board games because it's a lot to do. It's hard to get the camera set up right. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that, I'm probably not going to keep this pace for sure. I'll probably, do board or other tabletop stuff maybe about once a month on average. Other tabletop top stuff referring generally to like game books. Um, but next week it is actually going to be time for Saturday Night Vectrex in the Dark, November 2022 edition. And I may or may not do a bonus Vectrex stream because November 1st is International Play Your Vectrex Day. But we'll see though, time can be scarce. But that is a thing. It's a made-up holiday. I guess all holidays are made up. International Play Your Vectrex Game. But thank you for watching me play this game based on one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Night of the Living Dead. So now with that said, have a good night, Ryan. Have a good night, everybody else. And take care. Peace out.
You, drag that out of here and throw it on the fire.
Nothing down here.
All right, go ahead down and give him a hand. Let's go check out the house.
There's something there. I heard a noise.
All right, Vince, hit him in the head, right between the eyes. Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.
Send the wagon through directly ahead. Over.
Keep those dogs back off of those things.
Look more quickly. Please. Let's go, Baxter. That's the way.
Hey, Randy, light these torches over here.
Back, way in the back.